Earth's eternal night. Heroes from across worlds stand and unite. No other foe or force can match their might. The once great people of this world now hide in fear. All chaos shaken by the power of sword and spear. The black-clad armies of the Dark One now draw near. But in the distance, the sergeant and the bear appear. Great heroes of past the law, no power has seen before. Wings spread far across the sky, marching across the great divide to save the world from deterioration, to end the age of annihilation. Great heroes of past the law, no power has seen before. Wings spread far across the sky, marching across the great divide to save the world from deterioration, to end the age of annihilation. Legions of Romans stand and let their arrows fly. The roaring of dragons and machines fills the sky. Secret agents and the generals they defy. Swarms of orcs and samurai raise their banners high. In the wake of death, only one man stands alone. The sergeant raises his sword high silver shone. He condemns the chaos born on his soul. He stands longing for the day he may return home. Great heroes of past the law, no power has seen before. Wings spread far across the sky, marching across the great divide to save the world from deterioration, to end the age of annihilation. Until the war for the world's brains is won, they will fight until there are none. But Achilles will stand alone as one, and the bloodshed is finally done. Great heroes of past the law, no power has seen before. We spread far across the sky, marching across the great divide to save the world from deterioration, to end the age of annihilation. Great heroes are past the law, no power has seen before. We spread far across the sky, marching across the great divide to save the world from deterioration, to end the age of annihilation, 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 to end the age of annihilation.
All right, welcome to ToV Live on this special night. It is Valhalla time, and it is time where
Let's go, Valhalla.
I am the probably the only one from the entire
Ever.
Heroscape community who has waited 6 days now to see, and I still know nothing. I
Has
don't
it been?
know.
Has it been 6 days?
I think it's been 6 days. Like if you count Friday as a day, I think so. I think so. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to the ToV live stream tonight. I am Ryan, aka Tales of Valhalla, and I have with me my guide of lore and things Renegade Heroscape, Jeremy, the Elysium Cullet. Yes, he is here with me tonight to guide me again, because we had some fun with last time with Wave 4, and actually we turned that into 2 streams, and we turned it into a huge podcast too, which got a good audience. So we're probably going to do that again tonight, and if we do need to just have this be a part 1 and do a part 2 later, we'll see. I mean, I don't want to go too late because got morning activities for myself,
Yeah,
so
I
we'll
gotcha.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I just
I'll
want to
res
give a quick
I'll reserve the discussion.
I do want to give a quick shout out for see here those in the chat: Dan Antonio, Daniel Chance, Major Midnight, Meloman Studios, Jose Perez. Um,
Welcome
yeah,
everybody.
yeah, bowing to the lore master, says Dan Antonio. Um, and yeah, thank you guys for showing up tonight. And yeah, again, I still know nothing. I don't know anything yet
So cool, man. I'm
until I read
surprised.
it.
You did a great job.
My guess is as good as anybody's, and I had to stay off social media, and if I
Crazy,
saw
man.
something posted that I know I shouldn't look at, I'm just like, okay, I quickly look away, and I don't remember what I've seen. I didn't read what I've seen. I didn't see what I've seen. So yeah, all I know is actually the one thing I do know from when I was planning things with Joe Crazy last night for the backstage was that at the very end of Renegade Con, there's like something like special that happened that's told for the Heroscape community at the very end of Renegade Con.
Yes.
So, and I don't know if we'll talk about that tonight. I'll have to end up
Oh,
rewatching the whole Renegade
man.
Con, stuff, especially the Heroscape announcement in the next few days. Just to recap, because I'm sure there's stuff there that I won't get to tonight. But this is kind of why I have Jeremy here, and so we will get into this stuff. I just want to give myself a quick overview look at everything. But before we do that, I know Jeremy wanted to talk about a couple things. So Jeremy, the floor is yours for the next few minutes, if you so
Fantastic.
choose to. Some really good stuff,
All
actually.
right. Yes, thank you, and thank you for the time because it is kind of interceding in your reaction with the newest stuff.
More
So
delayed
it's
gratification for me because
more delayed.
it's like I'm impatient.
Really, yeah. So this is just we're just like, oh, we're gonna hold you tight and make you really really wait for his response. But no, there's something actually really really cool that I wanted to put some attention to for now. For the gamers in the chat because this is something really cool that's happened, and I think everyone should hear it. We actually should hear what has just happened recently with our fan or with our product with Heroscape. So, two things actually, two really important things. So the first thing, I recently was actually like I got asked to attend a tour of the local children's outpatient facility that's in the city that I live at. And so craziest thing because it's like, what on earth what reason do I have being there? Well, if you've ever heard of Extra Life at all at any point in time, it is a program that's designed to basically incentivize gamers, which is us. We count as that because we play Heroscape, a game, right? So, but it incentivizes gamers, gets all the gamers together to raise money for children's hospitals. So, because of that effort, which I have done in the past, they asked me to tour the facility, which have been receiving the donations that I've been earning through various efforts online, especially on Twitch and stuff like that, right? So, here's the crazy part: the major effort in which I've been able to raise funds were Heroscape related things. So in the past, and this was actually during the crowdfunding event, so during 2022, I got to talk about Heroscape. I explained how to play the game on Twitch. Like I basically just went live and taught people how to play. And someone donated $275. It was crazy. I don't even know how to explain it, but they just
Nice.
donated $200 to the local children's hospital. So, and that was one of several moments in which all I did was just talk about my favorite game, which is Heroscape, which I know y'all are in chat also like Heroscape, which you wouldn't be here if you didn't like Heroscape, right? So that's all I did was go live and talk about Heroscape. Earned this incredible donation that went straight to the children's hospital. I didn't see a dime of that, right? It went straight to the children's hospital. This hospital contacted me. They asked me to come down and see the facility. And they were like, we wanted to recognize the donations that we were receiving on part of your efforts. And I'm like, man, what am I don't do anything. Okay. I'm like, I just play games, but we're raising money for local children's hospitals. We're being able to game for good, which is the message that they have, right? And they gave me this lamp. Okay, so this is why I'm showing it off on stream. They gave me this lamp, which was insane because they didn't have to give me anything. This is a hospital. They don't have to give me anything, okay? Like I'm not asking for a gift from the local hospital, children's hospital, but they wanted to recognize the those incentives. Like, they were basically just like, "Thank you for those donations that we received. I'm part of those people who turned into those Heroscape streams and donated to the local children's hospital on those efforts." So, as a result, of course, I'm putting it out there, especially for this special stream, right? Because we have this special moment where we Tails gets to see this then this new drop he's never seen before, right? Before we get into it, I do want to ask you to consider donating if you haven't had a chance to check it out, right? Extra Life is there. I've been part of the program. This is actually going to be my 6th year. So if you donate, I'm doing the thing. If you donate $2, like a little $2 donation, right? I'm basically just going to rant about that lore subject on my channel for that period of time. And that's one of those things. And we're working on all kinds of incentive. I have like plans and stuff like that. But that option is there. Links are going to be in the chat or in the channel. So down
Description
below,
below
check
on
that out.
YouTube. Yeah, links in the description below on YouTube.
I'm telling you, it is okay. Like, I did not have any plans to be any, like, I don't know how to explain it. My heart, my heart makes it hard to explain it because it's just like I want people to know that you can do nerdy stuff. It's okay to do nerdy stuff and also do good stuff while you're doing the nerdy stuff. That's what this is. Extra Life is this program that bonds that there. And that's why I got so into it, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can play games, raise money for children's hospitals while playing games, right? There's no shame in being a nerd in the process. And now they're like this. So the big thing is, like, one of the big announcements, they actually tagged the channel, my channel, on their channel, like on their social media. They were like, "Hey, thank you for your efforts." And I'm like, again, I've done nothing, but thank you for the recognition. That is absolutely, and a huge part is not just me, but the entire channel, all of you, every single person that's tuned in, who's tuning in now to hear this. So I just wanted to take that time to, like, please, if you have the option to donate, if you have the opportunity to do so, it's going straight to the hospital. And they actually, I mean, they sent this, and they noticed, they recognized it, and I would have never thought in a million years, I would have never thought I would have been able, right, to do something like this. So, last thing to point out, and then I promise, we'll get into the meat, the core of the show. But last thing to show off that I think is really, really cool, because this was such a big deal, Extra Life going out of their way to recognize this effort. I spoke with Renegade Game Studios about it. And I was like, look, Extra Life is such a really cool program. They do this thing for the children's hospitals, and they recently reached out to me. Is there something I can do? Right? Is there something Heroscape can do? And guess what they did? I get to give battle boxes to my local children's hospital now.
That's great.
So the little kids, who are going through, anything really, like all the stuff that they have to, the situations that they have to go through. Because I'm telling you, some of the stuff, the stories I heard, oof, I don't want to talk about it because it's gonna make me cry. But
Right.
the stories I heard at the local hospital, the stuff that they have to go through, I'm like, you know what? What is a better story for a kid to hear, something that they need to listen to, something that they can invest into while they're going through intensive care.
Right.
The stories of Heroscape, the heroes that are in here, right? With Sergeant Drake Alexander, all the cool stuff that we get invested into, right? I mean, that is something that they can hold on to now, right? And play this at the local hospital while they're going through the different situations that they have to go through, different care they have to go through. And that is something that is now part of everything, right? This is literally part of, it's invested into the Heroscape Weave. I'm called the Heroscape Weave because there's all kinds of stuff the community's invested into this program.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is something I get to tell you all about. Heroscape is going to be at my local children's hospital.
Question.
Thanks to Renegade.
Painted or unpainted?
So it's unpainted, but here's the thing, right? The children get to work on that. That's the thing they get to work
Sure,
on, right?
sure.
Because you want to give them
a hobby.
And they have, I'm telling you, the amount of the stuff that they have over there, they've donated all kinds of stuff. All the local different programs were donating, like, they have the International Towing Museum, which I didn't even know was a thing. Donated a towing truck, which was like, man, I should donate Heroscape. That's what.
Yeah, why not?
That was like, I was like, come on. I mean, if they're gonna bring me to the facility to have me check out the facility, I'm like, here we go. Let's get some Heroscape for the kids to play. So
for sure.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. I'm definitely gonna be like, look, if they want help painting it, I'll teach them how to paint. You know, I want to
Sure.
try to the story of the heroes of Valhalla, like having something like that weave into the story that Extra Life is doing for these kids. Because I met the parents, I met the kids that receive these donations, and they're doing great. They're doing great. That's the best part. They're doing great. They are receiving actual help, and I was just just totally mind blown. So yes, again, and thank you for the time to listen to this because again, it's like they tell you just like you just want to share the story out there and talk about it, but that was precious to me because I don't I don't do much, just that nerdy stuff and do my day job and all that kind of stuff, and then having them be like, hey, can you check out our facility that your donations are helping? I'm like, what? So yeah, it was just a really amazing thing. So I'm really glad that now Heroscape gets to be a part of that experience for the kids down there. If you can, if you have the opportunity to consider donating, please consider that. And that is going towards it's just a big thing I've been able to do. 2 years now, I think, been able to associate it with Heroscape. So it's a tradition for me now to be like, all right, Extra Life Heroscape event. That's something I've been doing now. And I think we did this my third year. We were doing a painting. I got to paint Xenothorax for our Extra Life stream, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, so there's that, and just wanted to update everyone on how that's going. But imagine that your favorite game is now a big part of local children's hospital efforts and keeping that funded. So that's going to be really cool to think about when you're playing a game. Playing this war game as it gets developed. So
For sure.
Go.
No. And you might not say it's much, Jeremy, but you decide to step into that arena to say something. So if it wasn't for you speaking, then yeah, it's not even about the money. It's about spreading hope, because
I saw. I'm trying not to because it will make me sad.
You're about to, because I'm about to say something that's gonna really rip into the audience. But
all right, go. You go first. Yeah, go first.
Well, no, and hello, Alex the Swan guy there on Twitch. Familiar faces. Well, hello.
Yeah.
But no, I try to support Jeremy as much as I can for this, and I've tried to in the past when I've been able, because I relate to this a lot because see, I'm 40 now, so about 30 years ago, I was one of those children. And I'm just going to say something really quick. I remember when I was diagnosed with my illness, and I was a scared kid. Didn't know what my future was going to be. I didn't really have a lot of hope. But the interesting thing was that the hospital ended up doing something for me and my family at that time, because we had just moved from one state to another, and we were just really getting things together. There wasn't much for us to have or to do, and just in the few weeks that I was there as a patient during the end of that year, back in the early 90s, they decided to name me patient of the year. And so provided my family with food, with toys, because it was getting to Christmas time at that time. And it was truckloads of stuff, quite literally. We had to pack it in a van that wasn't ours to get it to the house. Yeah. And it was a very special moment. And it's not about those things. It's meant to instill hope, even if with the illness that you have, you have technically no hope, because what's probably eventually going to happen with the illness. But you know what? I'm 42. I'm still here. I'm still kicking. I'm still, hanging out with my friends online. I'm still trying to write stories and create stories to spread a little hope myself. So for any of those kids out there who feel like they're in a hopeless situation, which no denying it, they are, but you can still overcome. There are still ways you can overcome. There's still a purpose that you have. So never give that up. And Never think that you don't have a friend in the world, because you do. You absolutely do. So yeah. So kudos to you, Jeremy, and kudos to Renegade for making those donations as well. That's very, very thoughtful, very, very classy of you guys to do, for sure. But yeah, anything else, Jeremy, before we move on? And
man.
oh, and just so you know, I know you're kind of my wrench on the Twitch side. I think I have a spammer on the Twitch side. Not Alex the Swan Guy. Alex the Swan Guy, you're good. You're good.
No, he's not. I got it.
But I think I got someone else. Melon Man Studios, live life to the fullest. Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
I'm filled with just the joy I have to be able to do this and at all, and then hear the stories of how it makes people. I don't know. It's just like this is why we do what we do. This is what we This is why we make these decisions. We're working. I don't know. I keep thinking back. Okay, because this is a big launch for a lot of individuals. But one small thing I'm thinking back is like, I used to walk, right? I walk all the time because I don't have a car. So I used to walk to these game stores to talk about the crowdfund launch and things like that. And
oh my goodness, I remember that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm over every time I get those flashback moments where I'm just, man. And I used to walk to go talk about Avalon Hills crowdfund, and now we're here, standing before this. We got this launch out that's a really big launch, a lot of stuff that's associated with that, and then now we have this opportunity to associate it again with the stories of these children and how they're receiving care, because we were able to, as the launch has been able to develop, we had the opportunity to associate it with these events and to get these donations, and now I don't know, it's just good stuff, and I can't wait to keep being able to have these moments with you, man, as well as just as long as possible. It's just and look at me punching the mic, because I'm just it's so cool. It's just there's a lot of frustration that we've gone through, and now we're not as frustrated because now things are
things happen.
Like, the work has happened.
All right. Things happen. You just got to pull through it. That's just the thing.
3 or 4 years later, here we are. Oh, this is great. We're sitting here at the, what was it, the pinnacle? Not the pinnacle, because this is not a plateau either. I don't know. Whatever the incline is, that the steady incline, we're still going up, right? There's still options, but we can still see the horizon, and it's gorgeous. That's what I wanted to. That's what I'm trying to describe here. That's what I'm feeling. It's just we've reached a good point, and I'm really excited to go over this stuff with you, man. Because it's so cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
Imagine
Let's go. Let's
what
do this.
My shock's
Let's
gonna
do
be. Okay, so.
Oh man.
I've been getting into this, guys. So now, now that we've shed some tears, because we've had a bonding moment, guys. I don't know if you realize that we've had a bonding moment.
I'm gonna have to say
now, okay, I can do this. Let's cut to the chase. I've been waiting long enough. I need to see what's in this stuff. So let's get into these. Okay, now I have a couple emails. I don't know what they're actually going to say. As a matter of fact, let me see. Okay. So what I'll do is actually I'm gonna go with this email, because I think this email. Let's see, that was through. Okay, no, this one was from 5 days ago. This from 2 days ago. Okay. So I'll do the one from 5 days ago first. So, okay. So I don't know what these emails show because I haven't seen them, but I think they give an overview of what everything they're giving away. So let me just see what we got here.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I see like a force field droidica here, kind of standing up. That's kind of interesting. I see a freaking Kraken. That's pretty awesome. Okay, Embers of War reveals. Okay, what do we got?
Let's go.
Heroscape Krakenling and Gellery Vanguard's Common Army expansion. Okay. Heroes of Aberus.
Aborius.
Aborius. Oh,
Aborius, yeah.
okay.
I got
People are going to mispronounce that like crazy. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're
I'm
good.
just saying.
You're good.
So,
Here's the thing. This is the thing I've been telling
there
you.
seems to be like a lot of units in those
fictional
things.
word. It's a fictional word, so it's okay.
Okay. And then let's see here. Great Bow Archers, Scions of Arcaria, Alex the Swan Guy. Are cracklings a culinary delicacy? Well, believe it or not,
No,
there
you
was
can't eat
one
that.
point in my
No, you
past
can't eat
that I've eaten an octopus before, and it didn't
You can eat-
taste too terribly. Wasn't
You can
wasn't
eat
that?
octopi, but you can't eat the kraken. You can't.
I don't think it would let
personally
you.
am not gonna allow it.
I don't think it would let you.
Yeah, no, it won't let you, but I won't let. It won't
Uh,
let you, and I won't let you.
Okay,
So,
Great
that's fine.
Bow Archers. Okay, so that's like a 2-man squad, it looks like. And Scions of Icaria. So these are tiny little itty bitty dragons that we'll see. We're going to close-ups of these. I'm just getting... there is a lot of stuff there. Like,
There's a lot of stuff, yeah, man.
Okay, Crimson Widow and Dreadnoughts of Caraway Cavern. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Let's go.
And the what is this? We have ourselves a dice tray frickin' map.
Let's go.
How?
Ooh, dude. I'm
How
so yes.
Frickin' map dice tray.
Let's go.
Wow.
No, and you have to look at it. You have to look at it very closely. There's very something important because I can't speak.
Okay, we'll zoom in. Actually,
But yes.
Before we get into the units and lore, I'll probably just want to look at these other ones first. So Heroscape Ruins at Lore's Edge. So okay, terrain expansion. Looks like we're getting more of the walls that might be buildable, stackable now. And Roads of Valhalla.
Specifically.
We're getting roads. We're getting roads at $50, but we're getting roads, so it better be.
No, but look, you gotta look at it closely. There's something really important about the road set.
Okay.
Really
Okay. Well, how about I do this? Okay. I'll just look at this email real quick. I think it's just the same thing. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Valhalla dice set and tray. Interesting. So you get dice and a tray. All right. Interesting. Okay, and I know they were talking about stuff at Gen Con. We'll probably cover Gen Con probably on Sunday when we do the podcast. But okay, so upcoming releases. Okay, here I'll share this tab instead. So boom, okay, right to Renegade Game Studios. I've already had these set up. I just hadn't looked at them yet. So
no, man. Again.
Okay, these expansions.
Congratulations on the temperance. That's the word, I guess. Because I mean, obviously, I don't have it. I don't get to have it. But you got to have it, and you had it, and you were like the only people.
Here we
and
go.
I'm like, man, I can't even talk to Tails about this big deal. I can't believe it.
For like almost
the one
6 days.
person, literally the one person I could talk about this with, I couldn't.
Oh wow,
this is insane.
You get some of these wall pillars here for the roads though too. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here, hold on. Okay. So here, I'm just looking at these closer because okay, look at that. Okay, I'm gonna look at that freaking dice tray first. And I will zoom in on that. Look at these guys. My goodness, I'm broke for the rest of my life. I just put it that way.
Dude,
wait,
rough.
a quick question: are any of these commons here?
Yes.
Okay.
There are commons.
Okay, we'll get into that, I guess.
Oh, dude,
in a minute,
so
but okay, dice tray. Okay, I'm just gonna look here. Is there? How do I get to where I see the dice tray? Just I don't want to add to cart. I just want to see. How do I do that? Here, hold on a second. 1 second here. Let me see if I can just go to the orders. Hold on to your hats. I'm doing something on another page, but just give me a second. What's that, guys? I'm only half prepared because I didn't know what to expect for this. So,
Heck yeah.
Okay, where's the pre-order thing?
Temperance. The temperance is amazing.
It's called delayed gratification in a sense.
So wild. Look, here's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say what? What's up?
No, someone in chat.
Okay.
In Twitch.
Oh, Ryan, half prepared? No way. Oh, that is that's the Diet Nerd, aka Joe Ranieri, aka Lieutenant Dan.
That's funny. That's funny.
Okay,
Nice.
so let's look at this. Okay, I want to look at this map. Wait a second. What? Okay. Okay, well that's showing more of Valhalla. I mean that's Valhalla. It's the same kind of map, but okay, I see that there's that
Right.
symbol.
Compass
So
rose.
they got the symbol, or did you give them
got
the
the
symbol?
symbol.
Did you give them the symbol, or did they
yes,
have it?
I gave them the symbol.
Good.
I gave them the symbol. So here's the big deal, and I'll tell everyone in chat that's really important. What's really important about this symbol, right? If you remember when we were working with Avalon Hill back in the day, this was in 2022. I want to say, if I got my time right, Chris gave us this compass rose
Right.
as a symbol. He was like, "Hey, look at, thanks for all what you do." Because we were making videos, we were doing we were doing shorts. This was back when shorts were
Oh,
just
he was teasing a ton of lore stuff to us.
he was dropping all this lore stuff. So we were going making shows. I'm pretty sure that's when the podcast started.
That's when the podcast started. Yeah, exactly.
Literally,
that
yeah.
was the
So
birth.
just essentially the effort, all the build, everything.
These
that
are
went
nice
with
looking
social
dice.
media. Yeah, I like them. I'm excited.
Excuse me.
So,
Wow.
as part of that effort, he was like thanking us, and I remember he handed us that compass rose as like he showed it to us first to the creators. Like, look, here's this compass rose. This is something that we wanted to show you because it's a hint of what we're working on. And he was showing, yeah, we're working on the map and stuff like that.
Right.
Now,
Yeah, there's no expanded. I mean, this is the same, practically the same map as before. It's just it's been tweaked a little bit. There's no names. It's just
tweaked, is modified. Again, but that's the thing. It's that modification. It's being brought forward into the new experience. Heroscape,
right,
as it was. This is what I like to say. I've been telling people the retraining experience, as it was, right? Heroscape as we remember it. It's coming back.
Oh, wait a second.
It's being continued into this form, right?
Wait, what is
so
that?
The map is here now, so everyone gets to see the map. They get to see the world.
Ah, that's a promo. Okay, we're not talking about the promo yet. I'm not talking about the promo yet.
You're not talking about the.
That looks cool.
But yeah, I think it's the big thing for me is just being able to see that compass rose again. It's just
Right.
what did it symbolize, right? It's that the horizons being opened, the doors
Sure.
being opened, the new horizon is being expanded upon. The letters are there, right? The letters are gorgeous. I'm biased because the Song of the Curie is right. Like it was also a preview. He gave us that preview. So I was like, no, we need to continue to use this language because it's beautiful. We love language, and now it's on the dice tray. I mean, here's the thing. I know for a fact that there are a few of you out there who are playing Heroscape and other tabletop games. This is a dice tray that can be used for not just Heroscape.
Heck yeah.
Okay. You can use this dice tray for other stuff. So now you get to introduce to all of your friends the world of Heroscape.
Is it a button unbuttoned dice tray like the dice trays?
Yes.
Sweet. Good value.
Take this with you.
Good freaking value.
Take this with you
with the dice. That's actually that's not a bad price.
And you get the pre-order. You get the pre-order promo.
Right.
So
sweet.
But
so even if you got nothing else,
call me a nerd. Dude. I like the compass. The compass rose continues, right?
Call me a freaking
The language
nerd.
continues. The symbols continue, right? Ukar's image continues. Like those are all. That's stuff from the website. That's stuff from the old wallpaper that is now on a dice tray that you get to bring and show off to your friends, and be like, "Look, guys, the world of Heroscape." Now, I better see some tabletop. I better see some. I know some people have been doing some RPG stuff. I know you've been doing it. Now you have a dice tray.
Yeah.
Now you have a dice tray.
The Howland dice tray. Look at that. That's a nice back too. Look at the back.
Yeah,
that's a muscly back. That's a back with that's a back that women will just go like, "Ooh, I need to feel it." Ooh. Ooh. The nerd, the back of a nerd. I faint, I swoon. Okay, anyway. All right.
wild.
I have not drank anything tonight. I promise. I have not
I don't
drank
believe
anything.
you, but
Okay.
but
Okay. Let's venture a because I want to see these
it's
train
awesome.
packs now.
I'm really excited it's out.
Okay. Okay. All these. Yeah. All these you get.
I'm just gonna pre start the story. You all know the story if you've heard the story, right? And
Guys, we
at
don't
a
get
certain point
one.
you do apologize.
We get two bridges.
Two bridges.
Dos.
Apologies because it keeps coming up, but
Mhm.
everyone knows the story of the Dragon Lady, right? And the launch issue that we had with the original Orm's Return and the Road to the Forgotten Forest, right?
Uh-huh.
The original story issue was we had more Orm's Return that came out than the Road to Forgotten Forest. More people wanted the Road to the Forgotten Forest,
And for
obviously,
these road
because you want to
tiles,
build more maps.
I mean,
You wanted road maps, yeah. You wanted more road maps. You wanted more tiles.
starting
You
price
wanted
of
more
$50
bridges. You wanted
isn't
more
bad.
trees.
I mean, it costs like for just the old Forgotten Forest road pieces, it costs like $25 to get off eBay usually. It's like and that's cheap. Sometimes it's more expensive. Road tiles are not cheap. At least the
That's
older
the thing,
ones.
yeah. The road tiles was a problem because of the distribution issue we had with the Orange Return. Well,
I mean, I got a crap ton of it,
there are
but
2 bridges. Now
yeah,
you can
that's
get
nice.
2 bridges out there. It's so nice. Like I'm really excited about I don't know how to press it. 2 bridges.
Now,
because the whole deal is that no
Right.
one has had access to any of these because we only had
Okay.
one bridge and it was stocked less back in the day. So here we are.
And you get, and it's like, talk about for 50, I mean, and for $50, and this will probably lessen on other like seller websites in the future, this will probably get cheaper, but
Miniature Market has been doing really good deals.
Right,
I've been
Miniature
seeing them
Market.
post on.
Exactly.
They've been posting online, and they actually, because they posted something recently where it was a discounted Vorid Light Strikers, and I
Right.
believe that they get those options, so you absolutely go for it.
Yep.
Go ahead and get that support for them.
But you get 16 road tiles, 2 5-hex road tiles, 4 short walls, 1 rule sheet. Wait a second. So this is showing though these walls, or do you get those?
No, that's just a building suggestion. You get the roads. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You
Okay,
get the roads.
I just had a slight issue with that because it's kind of misleading. It's a little misleading showing them there. I mean,
Oh.
I'm just saying because I thought, so you get some Lar walls too, with it. That's actually more value. But if it's just these then.
My packet. I'm a lore guy.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I'm not the packaging guy.
It's
so.
still good. It's still good value. I mean, you don't have the trees in there,
2
but
bridges, dude.
yeah,
2 bridges.
that's the thing.
Okay.
It's just a pure road and short wall pack, which is fine. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's the intention. The intention is a road set. The walls that you see in the picture is building suggestion.
It's just a suggestion. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. All right. Well, still,
2 bridges
is
a big deal because
instead of a bridge over troubled waters, it's 2 bridges over troubled waters. So if one goes, you still have another one.
And you can put them together now.
You can put them together now.
You can make a big bridge. You can make a big bridge. Dude, you get 2 sets. No, I'm so serious. You get 2 sets. You can literally do like a whole packs over whatever you want. I'm saying it. Options are there. The options are there.
You shall not pass. Major Minute.
Yes,
Jeremy is strictly a lore guy. Exactly. Yeah, I shouldn't. Yeah, Jeremy's not the manufacturing guy. He's
I'm a
lore guy. So here, I'll just move on. Okay. So this other one, Ruins at Laura's Edge. Let's see what this is about. Okay. So these are ruins, and okay. Wow. Yeah. There's a lot here.
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, you do get. This would be if you are restacking, or if you're not resupplying, additionally supplying. I don't know how to say that in a different word, but if you want more,
and you want more
walls
stack.
in the original set, this is what you would be buying.
Okay.
But this is also the stackable set.
Right.
Now again, this was something that was mentioned and was posted up for the HasLab. This was part of the original Avalon Hill offering. But as you know, there was and you check it in Discord, I think it was actually really cool. there was an opportunity to discuss. I want to say, if I get this wrong, I apologize. If I understand what had happened, there was a discussion with a local hero scaper who was able to work out the situation on how to make this a stackable situation, and they
Hmm.
worked it out. They're actually credited on the box.
Oh,
You can
nice.
post, and they posted in the Discord. Yeah, I don't know if
Let's
you can
see.
see it on the packaging here,
Let me
but it is in the
see.
Discord itself.
Okay.
Um, it's on the
Uh,
bottom of the it. You may have. I don't know if it's actually, unfortunately, it may be in the Discord. You have to get it.
okay.
Skywhale is their name,
Let's
but
see. I don't see it on here. I don't think.
yeah, no, it's probably on the bottom. I think it's on the bottom of the box.
Okay. Okay. Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, I'll show it to you after the show because that way you can see it. They got credited
That's
for
cool.
giving the solution to get those stacked, which was really cool.
Get them.
Yeah,
So
that
these,
option
but
is
these
now
can
available.
stack with the ones from like the master set, then, correct?
They have the options there.
Okay.
They with all the instructions, and it comes with additional options from the original master set. So
Okay.
all the walls that were in there, these would be more of that essentially.
Now, I
Like
will
addition.
I will say one thing though, and this is just me like being real with it. Okay, I think like these are great, but they only go so far. We need like a rehash of like the fortress, set. We need a rehash of that. We need different buildings, different structures. This is a great start, but I feel like in order to be like more expanded and really have fun with terrain and maps, we need a lot more stuff. And I think it's something Renegade would probably do in the future, if they get that far. But I mean, this is a great start, but you can't walk on them. You can't have fights about ladders with them. So so
No spoilers, but continue your progress, sir.
exactly.
I encourage you. No spoilers.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying because well, you kind of expect it. It's gonna be a thing. But okay, so these are basically the extra terrain packs and stuff, and
But the most
yeah.
important thing is that's the last of the terrain offers from the HasLab, so
Okay.
that have been launched.
So anything that's going to be shown of terrain in the future will be a pure Renegade project, basically. Next time. Okay. So until next time, guys.
Until next time, TBA.
Now,
That's the
should
right term, right?
I do a
That's
quick?
the right
I'm just going to do a quick view of these
term.
boxes real quick. Let's see. Although you don't really see stat cards or anything on these, but look at
Ooh,
those.
I'm so biased.
Guys.
I'm so biased.
Crimson
I'm
Window.
not.
Let's see here. Okay, well, I knew these are probably going to be uniques.
Yeah.
Let's see the boxes. Let's see here. 60/40. Yeah, 60/40. Painted, unpainted. Wait, I want to see this really quick. See how many are there. Okay, Heroes of Aborius. These look like a lot of Wizards and Familiars, right?
Yes, this is the
Nice.
rest of the Wizards and Familiars.
Nice. Wait, let me just see this real quick. Yeah, look at these guys.
And the
Wow.
options have been long awaited.
The paint,
But
I mean,
everything is there.
the pre-painted stuff isn't bad. People are going to have fun painting these, though.
Yeah, I'm really excited. People have been posting their work.
That's quite a pack.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know if anyone's noticed or seen, it gets posted in the newsletters. It's a very awesome tradition, and I can encourage you all to continue to post your work. Please do post anything. Post all your cool stuff. So, because it's been, I've been seeing some really creative painting decisions.
Oh, yeah.
On some of the options.
Let's see, Major Midnight saying, I feel the display picture should have more of the walls. I first thought that you barely got any walls until you looked at the contents. Yeah, I think for that, I mean, especially for these, it's like, oh yeah, you see, you got a handful, but you actually get a whole more crap ton of those.
Like
I mean,
one
again,
of each.
this
It's showing one of each.
Yeah, it's
type,
just an example. Again,
Yeah.
it's just an example of what you can do.
Suggestion packaging.
I mean, there's a reason why it's $70. There better be a bunch in there for $70, and there looks like it. Wait, okay, I want to see dragons real quick. Dragon me this,
Scion.
Batman.
The Scions.
And
Good
look at these
card.
archers. Wow. Okay, yep,
Creepy
Braxis, Nilfheim,
Yep.
and
Yep.
wow.
Yep.
Wow,
Let's
Mimring.
go.
Mimring just devouring like a little snacky
Legacy.
poo. Look
And
at
it's
look.
important. Just lore.
I like
lore
the artwork. I mean, it's a little cartoony, but it's fun. You see like personality of those dragons. That's so cool.
They're a mess. And yeah, shout out to the person who compared them to Shock. Was it Lock, Shock, and Barrel from Nightmare Before Christmas? It's now going to be permanently etched into my mind.
That's funny.
I will never. I will never. I won't see them any different now.
And for
they're very much that like that.
I mean, okay, so this is wait a second. So this is the unpainted one, I think. But for $40 for unpainted minis, like, and how many? Like a squad. Actually, okay, these dragons are a squad. They're not individual.
Yes, they are.
I see. And dude,
And they are common.
Dude, they're a freaking common squad.
They're a common
They're
squad.
a
Yes.
freaking common
Yes, sir.
squad. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
sir.
Can you imagine, like,
Yes,
because
sir.
painting these things, you get a bunch unpainted, and then you can just do
man.
so many colors up the wazoo for these guys.
I already apparently.
Holy moly.
All I do is show this off, okay, at my local game store, right? That's another thing I do want to bring up at the end of that. But at the local game store, I was showing this set, and someone was already like, "Wow, those dragons look great for my local Dungeons and Dragons campaign."
Sure.
Like, well, yes, they absolutely do. So
they don't take as long to paint either.
It's not just for Heroscape. It is not just for Heroscape. You can use these dragons for any tabletop experience, including,
sure.
fact, including Heroscape, but Dungeons and Dragons, any other tabletop game that you play.
Oh, good God! You got the Kraken is a common freaking here. I'm sorry. I'm moving on. I'm sorry, Jeremy.
Continue.
I'm trying to keep this within like 6 hours.
I believe in you, but there's a lot of exciting things to show.
That Kraken, it's in a conch. It's in a freaking conch with the freaking tentacles, guys.
Yep.
Wow, look at these sea creatures, and that's a freaking common. Oh my goodness. Yeah, my goodness. I need just to like I don't know, my insurance policy or something. Though I can get money to get these things. Anyway. All right, so we did an overview. How about we just start diving into these things, huh?
Awesome stuff.
And how about since we already saw some, let's just do the promo first, okay? Deflectatron.
Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
Let's just start with that
so good.
tonight, because I don't know how many of these we're going to go through, because there's a ton. So we might cut this off, I believe sometime tonight, and then just do a part 2. But at the same time, it's 9:30. We have roughly 2 hours, okay, before I go to bed. So at least at the longest cutoff line. So we'll see how much we can do tonight. But yeah, let's start with Deflectatron, and let's just dive into this, guys. My goodness. Okay, look. Wait a second. He's double-sided, right? He's got 2 heads.
Yeah.
He's bipedal though, right? Talk about War of the Worlds flashback. Or is he bipedal, or has he got 4 legs?
He's got 3.
Yeah, 3 legs. Tripod. Yeah, I'm sorry, tripod. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Tripedal.
War of the Worlds. Yeah, that's a good reference.
Yeah, it is. It is. Wow, look at this guy. Okay, so let's read through. My goodness, look at this lore. No wonder Hasbro is telling you to quit writing for so long. Read this. Did you write this?
No, this wonderful piece of work is Dandelion's piece.
Okay.
Huge shout out,
Mm-hmm.
because I've actually saw some discussion in the I want to say it's in your Discord. Someone was talking about it.
Uh-huh.
And I thought it was really neat that someone had already called attention to one of the cool bits, but I'll let you read it first,
Yeah,
so that way you
let's
can
through it. If I need help with
unpack the message. Yeah, I got
pronunciation, then I'll get it. But I already know a lot about Zeddy anyway because I've been reading some
You've been
old
reading.
scripts, Jeremy.
So yeah, you
And
see
that's all I'm
the
gonna
big
say
deal
about
there.
that. But
Yep,
I've been reading some old scripts anyway. Alpha
yep.
Prime was once a thriving world called Meridian.
Meridian.
Meridian. Oh, Meridian. Okay.
Hmm.
But it was changed forever by the discovery that it was possible to place a living soul inside a metal shell. Okay, so yeah, so we're doing that backstory. The companies that offered this technology became superpowers, promising immortality in exchange for service. Some, like the Omnicron Corporation, saw becoming a Soulborg as a path that every Meridian had the right to choose or not. But the Zeddy Combine had a darker ambition to forcibly transform the population into Zeddy soldiers and take absolute power on Alpha Prime. So a civil war began that has raged for thousands of years. That's just a good backstory for a different game altogether. Just that paragraph. My goodness. Okay. Yeah.
It's so good.
In time, the war reached far beyond Alpha Prime, and the Zeddy Combine established prison colonies on nearby planets like Isidora, where the remaining Meridians who resisted the Combine were taken. Key to the Zeddy Combine's space power were orbital stations that hovered just above the atmosphere, deploying support for their ground forces at a moment's notice. All too often, Meridian resistance fighters, firing lasers at slow-marching Zeddy legions, would see a blaze of fire descend from the smoldering sky as a deflectotron was deployed into the metal wasteland. After landing on burning jets, the strange metal guardians spun steadily and projected a field of blinding orange light. Lasers fired at the shield glanced off harmlessly, granting the mechanical infantry safe passage as they drew relentlessly closer to the Meridian front line. When the Valkyrie Vidar first summoned Deflectotrons to Valhalla, wait a second, that's plural, he was fascinated to hear of this technology, and he set a secret project in motion to establish Heimdall Station in orbit over Valhalla. Dude, what? Space?
Yup,
Are we
let's
going to frickin'
go.
space? All right. Is that a hint that we're going to go into frickin' space? Because that's a hint we're going to frickin' space. Wow. Okay. Vidar has since disappeared, but a twinkling light that travels in Valhalla's sky tells his followers that he is always watching. And when they most need help, a Deflectotron is quickly sent to their aid. And see here it says Deflectron is available as a pre-order promo for the fall 2025 Heroscape Embers of War releases and will be available as an organized play promo by playing in local game store tournaments in October and November of 2025. All right, Jeremy, what do you got? What do you got for me?
Okay, so no confirm, deny, nothing. This isn't a space reveal, but it does reveal something about space.
It's a nod, because you're talking about a frickin' space station, okay?
So yeah, it's true,
Yes.
But this ties in a lot of what I really enjoy about working with the Lord Council and then working with additional members of the Lord Council and other individuals. Right, it's a cog, right? Here's a big deal. The big, really important thing to put out here is that it's not just a me thing; it's a many thing. Many people are involved in this effort, and everybody's got some awesome ideas, right? But the most important thing is that everyone loves this game, right? They love this game and they love the source material.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a lore scholar, if you've done your reading, if you've gone through the classics and you've read the compendium now, which is the kind of stuff that we have to use because the previous site is now on, or you have to go on the archive to see it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well,
Right.
that's what this is referencing. This is coming from the Blastertron's bio,
For
right? It's
sure.
referencing stuff from that.
Yep,
That's
in
where
there,
those
yep.
names are coming from.
Yep.
It's also referencing the script that was used to reference the webisode, which, by the way, has been restored on the internet now. I don't
Ta-da!
know if you got to see
Link a
that.
description below for that too. I have that in link a
Boom.
description below as well on YouTube.
Boom. Surprise. We got the official episode restored on the internet. That was a huge shout out to Joshua Izzo for giving that to us as part of this
Boom.
production.
Mhm.
They gifted that to us as being part of that interview. And that was
Hi,
huge.
Premium
Oh,
Scape.
huge win for archiving. But that kind of stuff, right? The Zeddy Combine is part of that script that inspired that webisode. So it's referencing multiple different stuff from the source material. So huge shout out to Dandelions for that dedication, because they're writing that, they're taking that offer, or they're taking that option, they're taking all that information from previous sets that have come out, knowing people have read this stuff and putting it into this information. Now, here's the new stuff, right? Because that's what I'm saying. I'm referencing the old stuff. The old stuff was, we have references from the Blastotrons. We have references from the Civil War that went on in the Blastotron bio. We have references from the script. But now we also have this reference. The Deflectotrons were summoned to Valhalla. Tails made reference. There are plural. There's multiple. Got summoned to Valhalla. And was like, hey, this is such effective technology. I like this. Boom. Now, there is a space station in Valhalla Sky.
Space station.
There is a space station in Valhalla Sky.
Was Vidar like trying to like misdirect people and like from like thinking that he was burrowing underground and making an underground civilization? Actually, he was heading towards the stars. Or both.
Well, here's the thing. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
But through the space station, right, they're able to know that he is watching, and they know this because of the Deflectotron. When they are in trouble, if something's going on with his forces, boom, you get this robot just drops from the sky, right, from Heimdall Station. Now, here's the crazy part. Huge again shout out. I'm just like shout out again to Dandelions for this, right? If you know your Norse mythology, Heimdall is a god, right? It's an Aesir from that portion from Asgard, and their role is to watch over the gates, right? And I'm probably narrating this wrong. I don't have the book with me, but Heimdall watches the gates, has the all watchful eye, right? So again, it's another reference to Norse mythology baked into Heroscape, as we are again dedicated to that referencing, because we love the game. We love the story. And what is Heroscape
Station.
if not its Norse references? So there's one already baked in.
It's a lot of info for 4 paragraphs. It really is.
Right, yeah. And
look at that guy.
Work, right?
Look at that guy. And okay,
I
okay.
need many.
Real quick shout out just to Premium Scape saying, "Hey, I'm late." Hey, Premium Scape is never late, never early. Premium Scape arrives precisely when they mean to. And Justin is saying Jeremy is here. Yes, and hi Justin to you. And Daniel is saying
off tomorrow too. So
Vidar has gone to one place untouched by Morrow ickiness. Space. Yes. Lots of space.
Yep.
And okay, let me look at the cards. Let's look at the cards. Let's see common. See, I told you common hero. That's why it's plural, because another common, guys. The wallets will continue to be emptied for the rest of our lives. Biblically accurate soul.
No. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Tails. Here's the thing. The Deflectotron is not just a pre-order bonus. It is also an OP bonus.
What does that mean? Oh, okay. What does that mean?
Local game stores, if you have local game stores host events, they can get it. They can get special priced sets where they can distribute this to you for participating in playing Heroscape at local stores. It's a prize for participating at local stores. You just got to get that
participation trophy,
which is we'll talk about that stuff again at the end of this show. I actually have that segment where we're going to talk about local game store efforts, because I think it's really important we go over our efforts in pushing the game forward, because I can promise you there's some really cool things to get set up if you get it set up. I'm telling you.
Oh, 25 points. Okay. Well, let me read through the card stat real quick.
Organized play. Yep.
Let's see here. Vidar, Deflectratron. So it's a guard, dude. It's a guard.
Yep.
That
Yep.
means
So
it
you
can
see
go with
that? You
some
see the
VC units
synergy.
already. It can go with
You
the
can see the
okay.
synergy.
Common hero, Stolborg. I like stubborn, medium 5. So here, 1 life, but 25
need
points.
this character.
It's good stats for 25 points. Move a 4, range of 1, attack a 3, defense a 4. Okay. Now, the proof is in the pudding, so let's see what the abilities are here. Let me read the shortest one first. Passive, a Deflectatron never makes leaving engagement attacks. Wait, what does that mean? So someone can separate from them and not take any leaving engagement? That's what it means? So
they don't attack. They don't attack with leaving engagements. With
they're able to leave, but he can't leave. Am I feeling?
He can't hit them.
He can't hit them.
He can't roll a combat dice. Yeah.
So okay, so he cannot roll a leave an engagement attacks on anybody. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's a reason for that. If you, you got to read the other power.
Okay. Orbital deployment 3. Figures with orbital deployment special power do not start the game on the battlefield. Okay. Okay. At the start of a round, before placing order markers, you may place 1 Deflectatron that has not entered the battlefield on an empty space within 3 clear sight spaces of the friendly figure. You cannot use more than 1 orbital deployment special power each round. So if you have like 4 or 5 of these, you got to bring them on, once, one time around. Okay.
So like 1 or 2. I think that it was like 1 or 2 is the best bet to go with, 2 or 3. But it depends on your build as well, because obviously it is a Solborg as a guard, Vidar. For everyone that plays all time, your Blastitron builds and stuff like that. This is definitely one of those like big Blastitron combos, things like that.
Magnetic deflector shield. Okay, what's this? Figures adjacent to 1 or more Deflectatrons cannot determine clear sight to any figures.
That is the reason why passive is the thing. Because
okay,
think about that.
When a
no
figure,
shots. You can't nothing.
Like okay. So figures adjacent to 1 or more deflect cannot determine. So they can't like aim at anybody if they're adjacent to the Deflectatron. Is that what I'm?
Yeah. So think about this. You have the Deflectron drop, right? Because that's the general idea. Is you're playing your game, you're moving your forces forward. Let's say something's not going your way. I'm guessing you're under heavy fire or something like that. Something they got tight before you were able to get to where you need to be. So you deploy a Deflectatron using the special power, right? And then anything that is adjacent to the Deflectatron no longer has a visible hit zone.
Okay, so what I'm thinking was actually the opposite. So anybody next to the Deflectatron can't be aimed upon.
Yeah, they can't get shot next. So if someone you have is next to the Deflectatron, they can't get shot at.
Okay.
So
for range.
Drop it
for range attacks.
Range, yeah. Right.
All right, let me read the rest. Okay.
There's another power. Yeah, there's 2 powers.
When a figure adjacent to 1 or more of your Deflectatrons defends against an attack from a non-adjacent figure, change 1 die result that was not a shield to a shield if possible. You mean just right away? You don't have to. It's not a reroll. You just put a shield on. It's an auto shield.
It's an auto shield. So yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's an auto shield, right? Or you change the die result to not a shield to a shield, right? If they're getting shot at. Okay.
Okay. Magnetic deflector shield is negated while adjacent to another figure with the magnetic deflector shield special power. So does that mean that it doesn't apply to the Deflectatron then?
No, it's just the people. You're sending the Deflectatron to affect the people around. So for opponents, and then for the player, or for your own characters. For your own characters, you get the die bonus, right? For the opponent case, it says figures adjacent. So that would be opponent characters would be affected by the first power, and then your player characters would be the ones that are in your army would get affected by the second power. So you
Okay.
drop it in. You usually would do this kind of thing. It's like think of like melee deployments or something like that. If you're trying to drop a shield, if you're getting shot at, that's the general idea. If you're getting shot at, you would drop them here,
Okay.
so you cannot shoot figures next to him. It's like because it's the idea is that if you're getting a shot at, right, you put them in front, and then I think it's like everyone around it too also cannot shoot.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It's a lot of words.
It is a lot of words,
it's
and it's going to be now.
slightly confusing. And Premium Escape say I took it that you could not shoot if your figure was next to him. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's here. Figures adjacent to
Right,
one
yeah.
or more deflectrons.
That's why placement
Cannot-
is important. Placement is important because
Yeah.
you're putting a shield up, right, from the melee, so they can't get shot at. But then also like you can't shoot around it either. So you don't want to put it like, oh hey, I'm going to put this on my like 10th or whatever.
So you can't be shot
put
at
it-
next to a deflectron, but you can't shoot either. Is that what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So it's essentially it's easier for melee.
Okay, so
Things like that, like
it
Vlad.
basically it goes both ways. Someone can't shoot
Mhm.
you, but you can't shoot them. So you can't necessarily like have like a ranged unit, put it next to the deflectron, and expect it just to shoot everybody, and they can't shoot you back. So
Right.
so it's basically it goes both ways. So that kind of makes sense. Otherwise, this would be a
Yeah,
very overpowered 25-point
No,
mini.
the way Daniel's explaining is he got it, but that's like it's
Okay.
it's not an infinite block. It's just an additional defensive option that can like kind of switch the play for a little bit because you have to think about it. What I like about it is being able to deploy it like outside of a like for example, hey, you play a game, play a round, see how that goes, right? Things are not doing well. Let's say you let's say and if you've played many games, let's say
Mhm.
the fortune is not in your favor. You just rolled really bad. So next round you're like, okay, time to deploy the deflectron. Boom, now you got this shield, right? And this is a good way to like kind of switch things around.
Right, you
But
end
let's
up
say you're playing a
changing the
different
field
game.
dynamic then a little
Mhm,
bit. If
mhm.
someone has like a meta army build,
Yeah.
this is a way to kind of throw it back in its face and make it kind of unusable, and you got to find a different way of doing things because you're kind of changing how the armies work in a sense. Yeah, it's here. Daniel Chance is saying basically defends your allies from range attacks, but those allies can't shoot from the bubble. Also shuts off auras, so it can't just bubble with Raylan. Okay,
Gosh, because
this is a very unique strategic thing. Like I don't think we've seen this type of thing before when it comes to this type of build. I don't think there's even anything in VC. I think
the
that
aura
comes
shut
close to
down.
this.
The aura shut down. Daniel actually has a really important thing there. The aura shutdown is important. Think about it, because if Raylan can't see,
she can't have doesn't have a
can't
line of
give
sight.
you-
Yeah,
yeah,
doesn't have clear sight
there's
space.
an option there. You can
Also-
drop. You can play a game, wait a round or wait 2 rounds, drop them in the 3rd round. Boom. There
Exactly.
Goes the aura.
This is what you're changing and the dynamics of an army build. So if someone,
That's
because
what I like.
Raylan
Yeah,
is one
it
of the
just
most
switches
commonly
something up.
used commonly used
Every-
miniatures, like especially your classic Rise of the Valkyrie Raylan,
Yeah.
used all the time. It doesn't matter how expensive you make her, people still want to put her in because she is that valuable. And
Does a good job.
this, if you have like 4 or 5 of these guys in your army, which only cost like 125 points, that is a Raylan shutdowner. Yeah, okay, I can see the potential in that. That's very interesting, and it's got, for a 25-point mini, defense of 4, attack of 3. Those aren't bad stats, and I mean, it's got a move of 4, but you can technically drop it anywhere on the battlefield. So yeah, within 3 clear sight spaces of a friendly figure. Huge, if you really want to flip the meta in a way. Yeah, so that's interesting. let's see, and Dan Chance saying, love the utility it has to be used offensively as well as defensively, for sure. Yeah. No, it's...
Yeah, you can switch a lot. Trust me.
Yeah.
When we get to the Krakens, I have a story to tell.
Whenever we get to that, I don't know if it's gonna be tonight. We'll see when we go to that list. But
the tech in these units it's so finite. Or that's not the word. I don't even know what the word is. It's just there's tight windows that if you use it right, it's so cool. But you got to use it right.
Deflectatron is Renegade creation, right?
Yes.
This boosts my confidence in Renegade's ability to do minis, because this really flips things on its head, and you already have a new army already created that can integrate with classic, VC, and the new Renegade stuff. And yeah, premium escape. Plus, we needed something below 30 points for contemporary.
It's fair.
It's too funny.
Fair point.
But yeah, no, 25 points. That is, I mean, Delta might change that, because I think these will end up being like a Raylan army crusher, probably. Depending on, we need to see how they play. We need to play them out. But I mean, I love my commons, especially like these particular common heroes, which wipe out the meta and really kind of change things around. So nice. Okay, this is what makes me look forward to what is going to be happening new. If this is what we're already seeing thrown out there, what else will there be like now and in the future? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Keep on building fun stuff like this, because this is definitely a strong, great possibility of what things can be like in the future. And if this is what's being created, then it's got a thumbs up from me, and holding back on the 2 thumbs up, just because I haven't played it yet. But this one's definitely a fun thumbs up, because this could really change things.
I still gotta give them a run in my local games.
And Daniel Chance,
to give them a try.
Daniel Chance is saying these guys seem really fun with Hopatrons in VC2. Yeah, well, there are guards, so they can go with like was it Crypt Guardians? I think, yeah, Crypt Guardians, because Crypt Guardians go with guards too.
Has Guardian leadership too.
Yep. So there's all kinds of fun you could have with these. Yeah, you could drop Tuck and then have this guy drop next to her. The possibility to endless. It's crazy, and we could stick with this all night. But I do want to close this one out. So this is taking a look at. This is just our first one, guys. Vidar, Deflectatron.
So many cool things.
It's like a shout out to War of the Worlds with the tri-pedal thing. There's just so much here. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing what this Solborg has in the future. The design just looks fun too. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. It looks fun. And I'll say this. If you get a movie reference vibe at all, it's intentional. That's intentional.
For sure.
That's the whole point. Heroscape
we gotta love pop culture,
the
guys.
References.
We gotta love pop culture.
It's always been about the references. Trust me.
Absolutely.
Everyone's called Savaris Legolas. I know you have. That was intentional. That was because Lord of the Rings came out around that time, So
my Savaris character is an anti-Legolas character through and through. It's anything but Legolas, but that is the joke. That is the point. Yeah.
If you catch any movie vibes, that's intentional. It's very, very specific intention there.
Absolutely.
Very cool. I always love seeing that kind of stuff.
All right, so that's Deflectatron. All right, now let's move on. Let's see. Okay, I'm just go back to character biographies. And again, Embers of War. Now, okay, so this is how it starts, and I want to go in some order here. Let's see. Is this the full grouping there? I think so. Do we want to start at the top or the bottom? Because the bottom does have the Kraken lane. So if you want to start from the bottom, I don't mind starting from the bottom.
I played the Krakens yesterday, and they're great. Oh man.
Okay. Because like I said, I don't know if we're gonna finish all this tonight.
Very biased.
So
I'm very biased, but
yeah, let's go Pirates of the Caribbean and just start with the Kraken lane, okay? We'll talk about film references here. Although we might not get another chance to talk about this, Jeremy. So if you want to mention real quick about like going to game stores, might as well do it now so we can get it out of the way real quick. Go ahead and do that.
Okay, I got you. Let me go ahead. Do I channel or share my screen?
I could probably do here. Let me just minimize this. I'll get yours up there. Okay, and
I think mine is
let's
up.
get it. There you go. You got it.
All right. Is it up? Make sure I can see it. Okay. So what do you see there? There's something important there. It's a very, it's very important. That's a box of Heroscape.
Right.
Right.
It's in
That's
that
a
corner
master
there.
set
Yep.
in the corner there
Yep.
of my local game store.
Yep.
Okay. Now you may be saying to yourself, what is so important about a Heroscape, a master set of Heroscape at the local game store? Well, here's the thing. This store has never sold Heroscape before. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Heroscape has never been sold before. Remember, it came out last year, August of last year.
Right.
When it was launched.
Just getting started.
So, we are rolling. We are getting to this point now where Heroscape has gone from, okay, it potentially has a chance, potentially getting here, to
So you're saying
local
there's a
stores.
chance.
You say right. You say there's a chance. And I wanted to take the time to point this specific out because it wasn't just one master set I saw. I saw two master sets.
Oh, there you
I
go.
saw a battle box and two Porta Borealis sets. Okay. The most important thing was that all this was stocked, right? Without me asking. This dude ordered it on all his own. All on his own.
Dude,
just to promote it and
people
get it
are gonna
out
buy
there
this
and to get
stuff.
it sold.
Yeah.
Because
You're gonna start doing tournaments there too?
Yes, we've actually
There you
we're
go.
currently working on getting a store championship set up. We got that.
Cool.
We're working on getting that set up. And we've been doing games for since March, I want to say. Right? And all I'm saying, and taking the time right now to point it out there, because we did talk about the Deflectatron, so this is a really good segue before we get into anything. Right? Deflectatron is an OP reward. Okay. And what I'm saying is it may be a little bit difficult, and scheduling, comes in the way, life comes in the way, work comes in the way. I totally understand. But if you have the time, have the option, please consider bringing up Heroscape to your local game store. Because look what just happened here. To me, at my local game store, for bringing up Heroscape, well, okay, I kind of cheated. I did say I write for some of the stuff. But the point being, I talked about Heroscape at my local game store, and now it's being stocked. And now this option is something you can do, right? Each one of you can do this. And I know it's difficult, right? Because I don't want to call it what is it, game store desert. I don't know if that's a proper term, but some towns may not have game stores, right? But most of the places I've been, there's game stores in the malls, right? I've seen game stores in like tiny little holes in the wall, right? I will go visit them and be like, hey, have you heard about Heroscape? And they're like, what's that? And I will show them. That's how I got started, right? I bring Heroscape to these stores. I teach the game store owners how to play, right? And this game store owner, he works with a lot of the local cons, so I've been able to demo at the cons and teach people at the local conventions this game. And it's just, step-by-step effort, getting the game out there, talking to people, getting people to play, right? That's all it takes. I'm telling you, bring the game out there, right? Share it with your friends. Share it with your local stores. Get you some Deflectatrons, because that's the reward, right? That's how aside from that, but it's just yeah, the option is there, and I'm telling you this specifically because I had no idea that my local store was going to start stocking ever. Did that completely on their own. So you never know what will happen. You just gotta play. You just gotta play the game.
Right, Dan Antonio was saying his local Barnes and Nobles had a master set or two in the battle box.
Yes,
Barnes and Noble, guys.
You know how excited? Yes, you know how exciting it is to see that. I love Barnes. It's my favorite aesthetic for a store.
Sure,
I'm such a nerd about it.
Oh
I
yeah,
walk in there and be like,
absolutely.
I just love how it is. That store is what I want for a house. But yeah, to see Heroscape now there, dream. It's great. It's just great to see Heroscape being stocked,
Fucking everywhere,
and
yeah.
you can make it happen. You can make it happen. So talk to your stores. I'm telling you, it's a really good effort out there to be able to get them. I don't know. I'm just excited because that seeing it stocked at the local store, that was because I brought it up to the store owner, genuinely. If I had
Sure.
never said anything at all, it would have never been stocked. So you got to talk to the local people, get them to know about your favorite game, and you never know what will happen.
Absolutely.
This happened, so
All right. All right.
good stuff.
All
But
right.
yeah,
More
that's my piece.
Okay. More stuff then.
Great.
Okay. Kraken Lane.
Well, back in the lore.
Kraken Lane. Look at
Gosh,
this. Look at
oh
that
man, the
conch.
Kraken Lane.
Looks like a freaking king on a throne. Let me tell you. And he's got that look. It's like yeah, I'm the king. Okay. Some paragraphs, some stuff. Okay. Common
So
hero.
excited.
Look at that. And is that like blades on his tentacles? Yeah, you darn right it is. You're freaking darn right he is, because he's a freaking kraken and he's from Uller. He can have freaking blades on his tentacles there. Yes, exactly. All right. So let me read this lore then. All right. Many tales of Tammin.
I say
Tameen.
I say
Many tales of Tameen the Hunter, Uller's chosen representative in the years before the Peace Summit, solidified his selection of Ekstrom's ambassador. One such tale recounts a time during his travels in the wilds when he rescued the egg of an unknown tentacle beast from smugglers passing through the Bay of Sorrows. Rather than destroy it, he chose to nurture the creature until it hatched, forging an unexpected companionship. Hey, this is I'm getting Aquila vibes here a little bit. I think people were speculating whether or not this was going to be Aquila, backed. His decision proved wise, for when he returned to the sea, he watched it use its space, time, distorting abilities. What? To scuttle the very ships that had stolen it from its deep water home. Whoa. Talk about pirate killer. In the tumultuous months following Uller's poisoning and the collapse of the Peace Summit, Melky sent Tameen in search of a way to defend Ekstrom's vulnerable shorelines against the threats of pirates boom from the bitter sea, remembering the Kraken Lane's fierce loyalty and the justice it had once delivered. Tameen called out to his old companion, Kraken Lane! Oh, Kraken Lane! It answered, sensing his need, and it did not come alone. Whoa! Hence the common. You can paint these guys and just have all these screens. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm getting too excited over this. Unbeknownst to the hunter, but beknownst to us, the audience. What reference is that from? An ancient oath has been invoked, far older than any extant records, of the deeds of the Archkaris of Eld. The only surviving form of it exists in a chant that young Kiri sing to each other in play, unaware of its deeper meanings. Many arms watch waters below. Ekstrom's enemies would be the first to know that the Krakens keep their promises. Arr, matey. Okay.
Let's go.
So
nice. Good. That was really good in person. Or various personizations.
I had fun. I had fun with it. I got to practice, dude. I got to practice because I'm doing season 4. There's got to be a lot of work out of me. But yeah, okay. So a lot of fun, guys. A lot of fun with this. Yep. Tameen has been mentioned in Solin's journal before. When are we getting his figure? Yeah, Justin. Yeah. Hey. Keep on asking questions. You'll keep on getting answers. That's another reference. Eventually. Yeah. I go from Spaceballs to Miss Frizzle. I just that's just how I am because I grew up in this 90s or the 80s 90s culture.
The reference era. References work because there's a lot of references here too. We've been able I've been
Yeah.
able to um the obviously the most
Dude.
exciting part because I'm is just the fact that Krakens, right? If you know your pirate
Oh,
lore,
my
right?
goodness. If you've
You
just
if you
watched
know your Kraken,
Pirates of the freaking
Pirates
Caribbean,
of the
okay?
Caribbean, right? You have the Kraken reference. It's just the
Uh,
peak is already here. But it's not just a Kraken reference, but we have this which they
Look at this.
mentioned in the interview
Wait, how big
with
is
you
this guy? Large 5. Okay,
yeah,
okay. I need to see how big he looks on the field, but
yeah, yeah.
even if he's like
I
just
got
half,
you.
like if he's almost this size, then I'll be good. I mean, even half the size, but
Right.
almost this size, then I'll be happy. I'll be good with it.
But yeah, the interviews mentioned the Ammonite reference, right? So we got an Ammonite reference, we got a Kraken reference, we got
Mhm.
a pirate reference, right? All this cool stuff. I got to write the bio for the
So so
Krakenling
so so
reference.
you
So
you wrote this bio then?
I did. Yep.
Nice.
This was so fun. This was so fun. Okay,
Oh,
because you may have seen right. There's a couple references here. I'll unpack a little bit. You did have a very good reaction to the space time distorting abilities. That's a reference to the card, which I you should definitely check out the card.
yep,
Great
yep. I'm getting
great.
Fia Bonnie vibes here. Is there someone else who can go throughout space and time now? You know.
Mm, good.
Mmm.
Hold on to these. Hold on to these. Hold on to these. Those are
Mmm.
great. Those are great commentaries.
Mm.
But the chat has also mentioned Tameen. I say Tameen. I don't know how else. And again,
I
everybody
think
pronounces it differently.
Tameen
Yeah.
is good. That's a good
Right.
phrasing.
But definitely reference to the Age of Annihilation set. So that character was one of the representatives that was at the Peace Summit. If you remember how this whole thing started, they were attempting quote they were attempting a peace summit, but then the pirates caused all kinds of trouble. So Tameen was there alongside Sonlin as representatives of Ular's camp or Ular's army, right? So this story is just kind of a one of many stories. That's the vibe I was going for, right? One of the many stories of this, person we haven't seen yet.
Hmm.
One of the many stories of this person we haven't seen yet. That's just, they're so awesome that they're considered equals to Sonlin. What is
Hmm.
one of those things that they did? Well, boom, they found the egg of this unknown creature. They saved it and raised it, and it was a krakenling. It was Kraken child, right? And then
And he sent him back to the wild. That's like
sent
that.
back to the
Oh
wild,
my gosh,
right?
that's like, and yet it still remembers him.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
All of that's associated with that character. He was able to reach out because the big thing here is because of the Peace Summit issue, because of the pirate issue. You look on the map, right? What's Extron's biggest problem? It's completely, if not entirely, not all the way, but mostly bordered by the sea, and it's like, ooh, that's bad for them
Ta-dum.
because
Yep.
they have a lot of yeah. If anybody has issues with pirates, it's going to be the nation that has the closest proximity to the ocean. So
Hmm.
Mielke is looking for a solution. She's like something needs to be done with our specific issue with pirates, and so Tameen's like, oh yeah, I remember a certain cephalopod doing the craziest thing, taking out the ship out of nowhere, use teleporting
Space
and
time
destroying that
distorting.
ship. Can I figure out a way to bring it back? And then it comes back, but not by itself. Hence why, boom, as you mentioned, you can summon multiple in your arm. My favorite reference, of course, is the little poetry at the bottom. I got to write that poet.
Hmm.
I'm getting sometimes I get a little I don't know literature vibe where I
Sure.
was like, let me see if I can get cool. I don't know. It's
We
fun
need to
because
develop a culture on
we've been doing
Valhalla
little
anyway
poetries.
on things.
Yeah,
So.
well, we're doing
Mhm.
poetry. We get to do ancient texts and that like we get to work that kind of stuff into the
Mhm.
story now. And so we have some fun with it. And this was one of those. This is a story and it's going to be a building thing. So obviously more of it to come and things like that. But this is one of those stories, this poem or this rhyme. It says many arms watch waters below, right? Now, what does that reference specifically? If you look at the compass rose symbol, right? Look at the compass rose symbol. there's something at the very bottom of
Ah,
the symbols there. Yeah, and I was like, hey, you know what? Let's work this into the story.
here, hold
And
on.
now this is what we have.
And the
Is that
crackling was
right now the
born,
story.
dude. Thank
Hmm.
Chris Nadow for that,
So
then. Yeah, I want to see real quick because I ever. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because I have it right here on my phone. I never lose it. Here, hold on a second. Let me just see
so
if I can bring it up here. Yeah, there you go.
yep. So you see the certain motif at the bottom.
Yep, swirling
Yes,
pulls
that's
and yep, and the like little extendable mandibles kind of like extending out there, almost like
so
trying
they're
to
part
grip
of
that
that. They're
compass
part of
thing.
that ancient. They're part of that ancient referencing, right? So this isn't
There you
just
go.
like something that was, because the Kraken Ling, if you look at the where it comes from, right? It's from Valhalla, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is part of that
Valhallan creature.
situation. Yeah, there's that situation. What is not, what else is getting involved because of the battle of all time? You have everything that's coming from different worlds affecting the local biology, affecting local ecology, and now you have these things from the local world that's like, okay, we're done. We're like, hey, can we stop messing with our planet? And the Krakenling is one of those responses, right? So that's why we have this like reference to its ancient background, and then we got this ancient poem because it's something from Valhalla's past associated with that, right? So it's really I'm excited.
Mhm.
Specifically, this character plays really well. I will say this much: I got to play it
I want to see the
yesterday.
card. I want to see the card.
Yeah. So you got to read the card because I got to play this yesterday, and I had so much fun.
Because Justin's
Man.
telling me something in the chat that I'm like, wait a second, okay, I need to see this. Good
Yeah,
gosh, yes,
go.
it's common. It's got 3 life. Oh wow, okay,
Mm-mm.
okay. I'm just hopping to this. I'm sorry, Jeremy, to interrupt
You're
you.
good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's
Because
see here.
the
Justin was
powers
saying,
are it's part of the lore.
for sure. How do we feel for 3 life in a common unit? I feel like it might be difficult to track when I've performed the crackling to be in hunt. One thing we need to do for these like single, like multiple life units that used to be like just like 1 life, we need to get. Why can't like Renegade? Like, I'm just gonna say this right now. If anybody from Renegade is listening, you probably are. Bring back the small wound tokens, okay? Because those that were initially like going to be released
The
via
ones I
Avalon
saw,
Hill,
yeah.
those would work so well. Those would work so well. I think we need some type of balance when it comes to that thing for these like multiple
Marking it.
life like squads and commons and such. It's going to be a help. Um, anyway, okay, rant done. Um, let's see here. Um, performed, yeah, because okay, the difference between uncommon and common, like uncommon heroes and common heroes. Uncommon heroes, I think you need to keep them all tracked. Like
Yeah, they're
when you're
separate
yeah,
order markers.
yeah, you need separate order markers for a regular common. You can decide. You can have one card and decide what to do for whatever one is out there, and it can be all via one card. I don't know. I mean, that would be kind of tough if you have multiple commons for something that's a 3 life figure. Again, the tiny wound tokens would help a lot more. You could just put on the base of whatever one that you're doing. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, Justin, for sure. With that, all the
Hmm.
same though, it's a 3 life common hero. So anyway, LR cracking.
It's
So
so fun to play.
little
Oh, I
bit
had so
surprised
much
because
fun.
I think people were saying when they were seeing photos of this early on that's like, oh, this has got to be from Aquila since it's a creature. But no, no, no,
Right.
no, no. We uh,
Well, so and
lore makes a
that
difference.
was one of the that was one of my fun job requirements. Essentially, was to make the Kraken Lane part of Ular's camp. Is like,
Hmm.
why? What is a good
Give it a
reason
reason.
for that reference? Because when I receive these contracts, it's like, hey, this character has already been developed, has had that design, so it's
Hmm.
like, okay, now I need to make it make sense, right? And then we deliberate, like we have a council, so everyone gets together and they work it out,
Hmm.
right? So I'm like, okay. And I remember there was a discussion about krakenling eggs, and hey, if you
Hmm.
take care of a krakenling, it becomes loyal to you, right? That was a discussion I remember reading. So I'm like, okay, that's what we're gonna do. That's what
Sure.
we went with.
First
So
thing it sees
you
is
take care of the
mommy,
baby
you know.
crack. Yeah. Yep.
uh,
So, because it's kind of nature,
oh,
and if you
Daniel,
think about it
that's an
naturally,
interesting
imprinting and
thought.
everything,
Daniel Chance saying, plan to see if I
magnetizing.
can magnetize some of the tentacles so when it takes wounds, I remove limbs. That's actually not a bad
That
idea.
would be cool. That would be cool to see. I think it'd be neat to see on
Mhm.
play. I'd be excited.
Okay, anyway, Kraken, common hero, monster, unfathomable. Do we have monster unfathomable descriptions in any other unit?
Nay, not off the top of
I don't think
my
I don't think it's that common. Large 5, so it should be relatively big. Three life. That's just interesting. Move of 4, range of 1, attack 4, defense 5. Not bad. Not bad stats here. 85 points, probably understandable for this common hero because it's packing. Let's see. Okay, let's go to the abilities. Warp space. Instead of moving normally, you may place a Kraken Lean on an empty space within 4 spaces. Okay. If a Kraken Lean is engaged, when it starts to warp space, it will take any leave and engagement attacks. Okay. But height doesn't matter. Just 4 spaces. It could be like 20
is a
levels
free
up,
force
and it
space
just
movement.
goes up. Okay.
This is a big deal. This helped me yesterday.
This is very interesting to me because you would expect a war like this type of ability to be in like a futuristic something like Theobani, or some type of futuristic looking creature that has all the gizmos and gadgets, not in a monster like this. That's interesting. Eldritch, oh my goodness, Cthulhu vibes now. Eldritch switch. After moving normally, a Kraken Lean may switch spaces with an adjacent single space figure. Okay. Figures moved by Eldritch switch never take any leaving engagement attacks. Okay. So this just might get someone out, and then all of a sudden you might be up against like a weaker miniature, and then boom, now you face a Kraken Lean, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, but I must tell you how I used it yesterday. It
Uh-huh.
was the craziest thing. It was so cool. It was so cool because it made me feel, you ever have those game moments where you're just like, oh, I did that. That was me, right? So I was proxying the Crackling last night with my game group, and my opponent was using, if I recall specifically, they were using the Necrotex, right?
Mhm.
And the Necrotex,
Sure.
this was the funniest thing, and I'm going to kind of spoil it, but I was also using the Gallery of Vanguard, right?
Okay.
And he kept, so Gallery of Vanguard, they take water, because that's obvious. You'll see why. You'll
Okay.
take water with them, right? So I take water with them. And he brings the Necrotex in, and he starts using the chain grab to pull the Gallery out of the water. And I'm like, bro, you're fishing. You're actually fishing. You're fishing the fish out of the water. And I kept putting them back in the water, and he kept pulling them out with chain grab. And he kept. Oh, it was so frustrating because he kept winning the chain grab rolls.
Ah.
So like every time I put him back in the water, he kept pulling him out of the water. It was hilarious. But with that concept, right? We had the fish in the water and everything like that. I used the Krakenling, and I moved it forward, and I swapped places using Eldritch Switch, and I got a Necrotech beneath, so in the water, giving the Crackling height,
Mhm.
and then I was able to give it. It was an attack of 5 3 times.
Oh yeah, with height.
By
Yeah.
doing that swap. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have
And it was
failing
just, it was
tentacles,
just,
which
it was
is next.
Yeah, no, I straight up I messed up this, like, the whole play was just so well done because it was just like, fish, 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 whatever.
Right.
Because the thing is, you
Then,
get tidal,
ta-da!
you got it all works together. You'll see, right? The fish come together, you pull them in, and when the fish are taking places in the water, then you use the crackling switch with the fish, right? And you freak people out because if you can keep a crackling alive for a good while,
Mm-hmm.
3 attacks of 5 is insane.
Which
And
is
it was so
which
cool
is which
because
is
it worked.
possible.
It did. Yeah, it did exactly what I needed to do, and I was like, oh hey, here we go.
Water
I got this neck
water
attack
maps are going to
underwater.
be very important in the future. Like
Yes.
utilizing water for some of
If
these
you play
armies.
water,
Again,
yeah.
this is something else that totally
Mhm.
changes the dynamics of any meta builds. Because you got to think, okay, now in the future, I mean, obviously you're not going to have like a river running through like a battle map, but now if there is water in these things,
Pools of water become
water
effective places in
or
the hole.
does swamp
Yeah.
water count too as water?
Yeah, it
Okay,
does.
so
Because the only
for,
rule difference I think is falling, and
okay.
there's another one. I
Okay.
think it's just falling. And,
So any type
yeah,
any type of
but,
any type of water space then.
mhm.
Okay, failing tentacles. A crackling may attack up to 3 times on its turn. Reduce the number of attacks
Yep.
by 1 for each wound marker it has. Okay, so technically, if you have no wound markers and you have
Mhm.
height, you can do an
Mhm.
attack of 5 3 times. Is that what you're telling me?
Mhm. And I
Good
did that
lord.
last night. I did that
Good
last night,
lord.
and it was amazing. Oh, it was
Wow.
so cool.
And
It was so
I
cool.
understand
It saved me.
and then reducing the number of attacks by 1 for each. So you can technically you could still get three attacks on somebody 3 times at the very least, which is still not bad. If you were on height, you just take 2 away. Yeah.
Mhm.
Dude, that
Yeah.
wow. My
No,
okay.
it's
I see the potential.
so you. Mhm.
No, go ahead.
So you actually, when you take wounds, you attack less. So the way it works, it's based on his life. As you attack, you get to attack 3
Oh, the
times
number of attacks,
every
not
time.
the attack
Yeah.
count. Okay, I got it. So
Mhm.
you can
There you
attack
go.
up to
So
3 times,
you keep your
but if
attack
you
of
get
4.
wounded, then you
Yeah.
attack 2 times. If you get wounded twice, then you don't attack 1 time. Okay, I saw. Okay, I
There you go.
misread
Yeah,
that. I
but you
misread
keep
that.
your
So
attack of
there
those.
you go. There you
But
go. And
yeah,
of course,
no,
swim. Crackling, of course, is at home in the water. No surprise there. Does not have to stop its movement when entering water
and it
space.
works really nice.
Again, this is a
because
Renegade creation too. This one as well, right?
Yep. This is unique to Renegade's design team.
Dang,
I was very excited
blowing it out of the
because
freaking part.
again, we have the Kraken reference. We have
Yeah.
the Ammonite reference, which is big. I'm a big fossil nerd, so I was really excited to see that.
Daniel Chen, I welcome our cephalopod overlords.
Cephalopod overlords. Yes. No, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I messed up in the way because it was just I was proxying them yesterday with my game
Mhm.
team. I sold this product to myself because
Yeah.
they
It seems like
played
a lot of
so
fun.
well.
It's like just
They
good
played so
bonding with
well
it.
last night. Good bonding. Yeah, trust me. When you see the fish people, just
Okay.
wait, you'll see.
Okay, they're good.
It all connects really well, right?
Unfathomable.
But like,
That's
I have to buy this set because I want to play this set against the
Sure.
people I play against. So I'm like, oh heck, now I have to buy this. So I sold it to myself. It was really funny because I was having such a good time. I was like, crap, I have I have to buy the Kraken Links now.
inspiring.
But no, they're really really fun. So
And you just got to start singing under the sea now. Under the sea.
under the sea,
Under
oh my
the
God.
sea. Because it's coming, man. It's
Oh,
bring on
man.
Triton. Bring on freaking Triton now. Come on, let's have it. Let's do it. Come on. I tell you what, Triton, the ruler of the oceans of Earth, now rules over the oceans of Valhalla. Bring it on. It's like have I don't know. Have Aquila summon them. I don't care. Just do it and just that. Oh my goodness. Let's freaking go. Come on. All right. So okay. Like I said, we're not going to finish everything tonight. We're like 2 hours into. We're 2 hours into this. We're talking about two.
Well, again, this is why I was so amazed at
No,
your
it's awesome.
Temperance Tales because there's so many cool things about this wave.
To be honest, I wasn't expecting this much stuff.
Thing.
So it's great that
you were able to avoid. That's crazy.
Mhm.
Okay, but there's one last thing I have to say that I'm really excited I
Sure.
got to do for these guys.
Sure.
I got the reference Lord of the Rings because the poem that references the Krakens also references the Watcher and the Water.
Dude, you're right. Yes.
Yeah.
You're
yeah,
absolutely
I did-
freaking right.
Yeah. So the
in the
reference
very
to Lord of the
beginning
Rings
there.
was made for the Kraken. Yeah.
Although the
Which here's
Watcher
the
is
thing.
an entirely different creature, but no, I appreciate the
Well,
reference
you
though.
know,
You know.
do you know what do you know how I connected the dots? You want to know? You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh. You know, how I connected the dots. Magic the Gathering, because in Magic, the Watcher is a Kraken.
Okay.
It's an art. Yeah. And then so
Okay.
I was like, hey, well that works. There you go.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
And
That's
I
fine.
was like, I want to make a Watcher. So
Even without that, it's still. I mean, many arms
yeah.
waters below. Yeah, that makes sense. That absolutely makes
So
sense.
I was like, yeah, let's go. So that's
we're
there's a lot of
so
references
always
that are
fun when we can
packed
give
into these
pop culture
stories.
references to
They're
these
really
things.
cool.
Always fun for
I,
that.
I enjoy it. And I'm like, look, if we're gonna play a game that references a ton of movies, let's make a ton of movies
Damn right.
references. You know, let's do the thing it was
We
made
do
for.
that with Tales of the
Legally,
Valley anyway.
mind you, legally.
I can't
Legally,
wait
mind
to.
you. There are
Can't wait to
legal
do it again.
ramifications, but
Sure.
because you can't just not.
No,
everything.
it's got to
we
be
can't
subtle.
not everything.
Subtle.
So yeah, we work these. In
Yeah, and see,
very
you have the crackling, like the image, and I just realized this is jumping the time space void right here in front of you in this freaking photo.
Mm-hmm.
That okay? Now, see, the cool thing is this could also be a potential time travel. I don't know how I'd work it in Tales of Valhalla, but this is another potential time jump. Even though you got to be careful when writing time travel in any type of script because you can totally destroy your story.
Don't mess with your paradoxes.
But at the same time, it's like here's another possible opportunity in the future, just to be like, like this Kraken just falls in the airborne elite slap and be like, I think it's calling me mommy now, or something. That would be hilarious. Anyway, but that's taking a look at the Krakenling. Just first look, and my goodness, so awesome.
I am really excited. If you ever do see me at public events, I'm probably going to be fielding this as an army.
Let's go. I'll bring my bugs. I'll bring my bugs.
And I'll be a Kraken player.
We can hash it out.
Krakenling player, because man.
All right. Okay, so let's go. We'll try to do. I mean, we still have probably another good hour we can go. So let's see how much more we.
If you want to do something, if you want to do the full set, you can do the fish people.
Yeah. We'll keep on going down the line.
They're in the same.
Yep. Gallery Valguards. Let's go next to that. Let's go to these guys. So, 4-man squad. We're looking at again. Okay, I just want to check real quick, just so another common squad, guys.
Yep.
We are getting the freaking common unloading. Tonight again. The one thing I like about commons, I understand we got to pay up the wazoo for these guys, but at the same time, the beauty with commons is that they don't need to be the same paint job. You can have a ball just doing different painting, so you can get like one of the original paint and then just get unpainted for the rest and just
scale.
Have fun with it, and then you just show up at your your tournament or army with all these different paints. Terrible or I would say terrible. Your own version of painting or otherwise, they're yours, and just have fun with it. Justin, that there's Justin's asking me any army ideas for Cracklings? How many packs are we getting? There is never going to be like a stopping point for this. I don't think. Renegade just releases, and
you can buy as much as you want.
Oh my goodness!
But I will tell you this: I actually found this out, which was really cool. So, 2 packs, right? So 2 sets of the Gallery and the Cracklings, right? Mm-hmm. Cracklings are 85 each.
Okay.
And the Gallery are 65 each. If you buy 2 packs, the 2 squads and the 2 Cracklings together is 300 points even.
Okay.
So you literally can field 2 full packs so if you buy 2 sets, you can field that full thing as a 300 point build, as a core 300 point.
That's
and then
good.
Based on whatever event you're going to,
you can add or take away whatever, and you can
add whatever. If it's a bigger than 500, adding a Washia
Dude,
She
there
plays
you go.
really well with them.
There you go.
Oh my gosh,
And
she plays really well with them.
I mean, for
So
the pre-order, like the
yeah,
unpainted
perfect.
is $40. So for $80, you can get yourself like a very viable,
Yeah,
potentially viable
300
army.
points flat. That I was very
Yeah.
I was surprised at how like when numbers match together. I'm like, oh hey, that's
Don't you
cool.
love it when that
So I
when that works
I
out?
ran the 300-point arm last night, and it was 2 squads of a Galrier and two cracklings. So
Okay,
yep, 2 crack plus
Galrier.
a wash. Yeah, it is
Gallery.
Galrier.
So
Yeah.
that's how. Okay, Gallery Vanguards. Okay, let's take a
Well,
look at these.
and
Yeah, go ahead.
there's a lot
Take
of
a look at the
different
board.
pronunciations for that too.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I know. Everybody's saying things differently. Okay.
it's fun.
All
It's
right.
fun to hear it.
So let's look at the lore for these because there's a little bit of this to read. The Deflectatron had scarcely finished. I'm glad we're going backwards reading these. Has scarcely finished relaying its urgent message before Sonlin vaulted onto his dragon Velsa and took flight. If the Solborg spoke the truth, time was of the essence. When he caught up with Queen Kirion's forces upon the shores of Anund, a strange sight greeted him. Legions of fish-like warriors, standing in the shallows, weapons raised. Before them stood Kirion, flanked by her Solborg retinue, and a handful of agents poised to fire at her command. As Sonlin and Velsa approached, one of the purple-scaled beings bellowed in a wailing language unlike any he had ever heard. Probably watery or something like that. Kirion...
you gotta,
watery, they probably sound watery, kind of like what
but you gotta bellow. You gotta bellow.
yeah, you got to bellow, but like
Angry, man.
I go
you gotta be mad.
like think of Star Wars reference. Who's the general? The general in the Mon Calamari, right? In Star Wars.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, come on, who's that general? I'm gonna come on. I should know this. I'm a Star Wars nerd.
I don't know.
The one,
names.
the quote. It's a trap.
It's
The one who says it's a trap.
Akbar is it?
Akbar. There you go, Akbar.
Yeah.
So Akbar has that kind of watery type of voice. So that's how I kind of imagine what these guys would probably, speak like. So yeah, the bellowing. It might sound kind of high pitched, but even high pitched, it's a bellow. Okay, that's just my imagination. Okay, Kirion inclined her head slightly in acknowledgement, but kept her gaze fixed on the Legion. I'm unfamiliar with this speech and cannot translate, she whispered. I know you have some skill in this. Sonlin nodded, raising a hand and channeling his magic. We're talking about elf power, guys, here. Elves commune with everything. Slowly, the invaders' meaning became clear to all present. Hawkland spoils our waters with their drilling. Oh boy. Toxins from their... So these are Valhallan natives.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that. Toxins from their... So this is a whole new world under the sea. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to do it. Okay, toxins from their expansion drives. Hey, I was raised in the 80s and 90s. Okay, I can't help myself.
It's funny.
Justin saying Admiral Akbar. There you go.
This. The Little Mermaid. This is the Little Mermaid edition.
Little Mermaid and
Tales of Valhalla
and Aladdin, because it's just a combination of both songs. Toxins from their
I'm thinking Disney. It's just the Disney references.
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, there you go. Drives our allies from their nests, cried a warrior adorned with a conch shell crown. Its long fins flexing with agitation. Who leads this host? Someone asked. We seek to understand your cause. We speak as one. The Gallery unite against you. You misunderstand us, Queen Kirion replied, stepping past her guards. We have no accord with Hawkland, and our lands suffer from war as yours do. We will not allow it to happen again. If your cause is just, then we are allies, not foes. A few of the Gallery shifted uncertainly, clawed fingers scraping at their spine throats nervously. We have tools to aid you, Kirion continued. Machines will allow you to breathe on land. Okay. If you turn your spears against those who despoil your shared shores, we will help you adapt. She turned briefly to Sonlin and whispered, "Thank you, Archmage. This must be a strange day for you." "Not the strangest," Sonlin replied, with a knowing smile. uh, so, so these Gallery are given Kiri type of Solborg type tech, then, basically. My understanding.
Not Solborg specifically. This actually is a reference to. So it's kind of hidden, layered in there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you remember the Microcorp agent,
Okay.
the set that references them, right? So this is like deeping, kind of like a little bit more layered there, right? But the Microcorp agents are a reference to a previous work that Craig and the others had done, Risk 2210, right? That set.
Mm.
And in that set, Microcorp is a reference to an underwater city.
Sure.
Right? So, that's how the layer goes. You kind of have to like domino it a little bit. But because Vidar summons Microcorp agents, has access to underwater breathing technology through the Microcorp city, was able to offer that kind of reverse technology to the Galrier so they can breathe on land. Because that's just something they're native Valhalla. They've been
gills
living here, right? They have this ancient language that no one's heard for ever, right?
That's crazy.
And
they kind of actually look. They're like fish Kiri, actually, almost, because they got.
That's the idea. That's the idea. They're cousins. They have cousin.
That's freaking insane.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah. And so the thing is, the development of the Battle of All Time, right? All this new stuff, especially as you know, Hawkland, right? We're learning the new story. We got to learn about Volarok's revival, right? With Zed Nesbitt's arrival, with all that stuff associated with that scenario when that dropped, right? All that stuff that's been happening. So you have to ask yourself, with all the promises of wealth and security that New Hawkland provides,
right.
What is it taking away, right? I mean, what is we all hear the same song and dance, unfortunately, but it's like, if to gain, some must lose, that kind of stuff.
Hey.
And that's the whole story with Volarok.
Yeah.
You have New Hawkland, this amazing offer, this new colony.
Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
That's a great quote. That is a great reference. There's a very good reference to make when referring to New Hawkland, because the Gallery are being affected.
Yeah.
That their homes are being affected. Their people are being affected as well. So now they're jumping up on these shores and they're like, all right, we're joining the fight. Let's, who's doing this, and we're going to stop you. But again,
well, they showed up on the wrong landmass. They should have went to Hawkland first, So
that's the thing.
They kind of
never. Their knowledge of the surface world is very limited.
They need a GPS
on the surface.
They definitely need a GPS.
They haven't. It's been. That's the thing. No one knows how to speak with them, right?
Sure.
And the only way they've been able to speak with them. So this is the best part. My favorite part, of course, is Sonlin's translation magic, right? Now,
it's interesting.
If you know your lore reference, this is from Thormund's journal, right? Because he did this, right? He did this same ability when they met Aquila for the first time. She was speaking in a language they had never heard, so he used his ability to wave it. He waved his hands, and then everyone was able to speak with her, and she was able to speak with them. Right? The key. This is the key important part, right? I wanted to reference this specifically in the lore because way back in the crowdfunding day, back in the Avalon Hill Discord, right, when Craig was posting, there was a whole discussion, and we had dozens of discussions. Hundreds even. I can't even number. We were talking a lot. But there was one special discussion. I remember we were talking about the lore. And someone had asked something about Sonlin. I can't remember if it was a question about Sonlin specific, but it brought up the translation ability. And Craig noticed that I mentioned that. Like, I had mentioned the translation ability, and he was like, "Wow, someone has a good memory." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." Right? So I was like, that was the one time.
That's why.
Like, Craig recognized in Discord that obsession I had with the story, and I thought it was really cool. And so I was like, I need one chance to reference the Somlin translation magic. One, I need it. I need to do it at least once. In, thank you to Craig who made that reference in Discord, because I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even, here I am just posting nerdy stuff about a nerdy game that I like, but I didn't think that the creator would reply to me about it, and it just so happened to be through Somlin's translation ability, so I had to mention it.
Right.
But yeah, the fact that he could just do that too is cool. So it's like, hey, do you not know what to say to this person? Oof, he has that ability. There's so many. Somlin has so many different magical abilities. If you read, if you read the journal, all the stuff he does, he's great because he's just like, oh, do you need help? Boom, magic spell, and I'm like, whoa, I
Use
didn't know he
magic.
could do that. I didn't know he could do that. Yeah, no, Somlin has a lot of
Auto
options.
linguist. Auto linguist.
Yep.
Yep.
And also, in chat, Daniel Chance introducing New Hawkland was a blast. So huge shout out for that.
Yeah.
Because Daniel Chance
That
was the
was
writer
that
of the
was an
scenario,
interesting read.
Valeric's rival. Dude,
Yeah.
it was awesome. It was so cool. I got to read that, and I was like, yes, because well, you have to remember the most important thing, right? And it's like a how do I describe it? It's like a domino effect, right? All the stories that are being built over time, they're
Mm-hmm.
layered, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're based on previous stuff that we've told.
Swiss magic.
They're based on the previous scenarios that have dropped, things like that, right? And so this development of presenting Valeric as this individual who has melded together different, the different cultures, has the Vorid technology all together, is working together with them, has that, spy network, has been spying on the mainland this whole time, right? It's all this merging, right? It's all this merging, all this connecting of like various resources all together, and is trying to present this new vision. Like, look what we can do when we combine all these resources together. Boom, capitalism. That's that's basically, so that's the premise, right? That's the premise, and it's just it's a funny
It's a
take because
strong hint.
you're thinking about it. You're just like, when you have this war that's been going on for 10 years, you have this fight that's been going on for so long, right? Some people are going to try to profit from it. That's just how war is. That's how war has been in the past. So of course, this is this offering, but it also makes you think, because yes, how many people have been suffering because of the war? So is Valeric wrong for offering a new option, right? That's the thing you have to start asking yourself, like, oh heck, like, moral dilemma, like, because in a way, right? Yeah, there's damage because the Galrier being affected right now, right? Their people are surfacing, and they haven't been to the surface in who knows how long. They can't speak to the surface. They
Mm-hmm.
can't speak to the people there. They haven't been there for so long, But they are now jumping to this fight because they're like, bruh, like, what's going on the surface? You're messing with us. And now it's Valeric is messing with them, but the problem is because she is trying to offer a new vision for people that are suffering. So there's a lot of like, ooh, you gotta fix things.
This and
Yep,
they
drop them
decided to join Vidar, who's almost as
who's given
technological
them.
as Valorak, actually, which is kind of interesting. The yin to the yang, almost.
Well, don't forget Ostriak, right? Ostriak is bordering,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
right? So
Yeah, yeah,
they've had issues.
right.
They've had issues with Valeric's forces on the surface.
Yeah, it's interesting that. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Gotta get them. See, where is it?
So if you
There.
want some thematic battles, you can do fish people versus Vorid, because that would be a pretty big one.
Yeah, for sure. Now let's go into, let's see here, the card. Okay, let's look at these synergies here. Okay, Gallery,
So good.
Vanguards.
So good.
Gallery,
Plays so
Common
well.
Squad, Vanguard, Fierce. Now, Vanguard, is there any synergies? I know Vanguard is, like, it's been used before. Is there any synergies with VC and Classic for Vanguard? Or is it just, like, it's been used, but there's nothing that bonds well with it?
I want to say it's been used. I want to say it's been used. I'm about to check because I'm not entirely sure.
Let's see here, and Daniel, Chat saying there's profit, but also a degree of order. Somlin's wise to mistrust her, but her resources do help people. Yeah. And Kirian and Vita are not fans of General Valorak's newest colony. Yeah, I don't think many people are fans with Valorak. I think Valorak definitely approached things in the wrong direction. Telling everybody that you get a free lunch is certainly not the approach you should go on, especially on Valhalla.
And it's rough because you have to like the proximity, right? Because what was the issue that the people of Nun specifically were dealing with, right? Was pollution, right? They had the issue with the Morrow poisoning the water supply. They left their homeland because they couldn't drink. Literally, like there was just no options to survive in their homeland. And Vidar was like, "Stay, so I can protect you," and they didn't. The people under Vidar's, under his purview, because he was a leader of the people that he was in charge of. They left him, and now he's, that's why there's no presence. He's doing his own thing now because it's like it's that bitterness. But yeah, now he has an army of fish people with the robots.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, if whatever floats your boat, especially if it's fish people. Okay.
I love the pun.
I'm full of them tonight, apparently. Okay, 1 life, amazing. Squad of 4, move of 5, range of 1, attack of 3, defense of 2. Okay, interesting stats. 65 points. Title
Vanguard
advance.
Is not a class.
So
that's a new class. Vanguard is not a class that's been used.
Okay. That's what Daniel's saying. Okay. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. I'm half tired too. So
no, you're good. You're good.
So your title advance. At the start of each round, after placing order markers, you may move each fierce or unfathomable figure you control up to 1 space for each of your order markers on the gallery vanguards. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting synergy. I don't think
it was so cool. I used it yesterday. I can explain this. I can explain this better than so, because I know. Here's the thing. I'll just tell everyone in chat, right? I'm a lore guy. I do lore stuff. I'm not very mechanically sound, right? But when I figured this out, this was fun because I was like, "Ooh, I can do this." So, check this out. The way Tidal Advance works. If you are familiar with the Death Chasers of Thesh, right?
Sure.
Where they are able to the battle, or it's the I want to say it's Warcry Battle Cry.
Right.
They are able, like as soon as you start the game, you move them forward.
5. That makes them very, very valuable. Yep, I've used them before. So
and that has been a big part of their tournament effectiveness. The ability to move them as soon as you start the game. I mean, it's like it freaks people out. Yep. I've seen it all the time.
Oh yeah, I've had it used against me. And then when it was used against me, I'm like, oh, I need these guys.
Right. Take that concept, and now I want you to envision a rising tide, literally, where every round, right, move just a little bit.
Fierce or unfathomable. So wait a minute. Okay, so you can move not just the vanguards. Wait. Each fierce and unfathomable figure, and unfathomable is the Kraken as well. So potentially your whole army, if it's just these guys, they all move up.
Going back to what I mentioned,
I'm wondering now: is there any other unfathomable or fierce, miniature units out there? Say what? Yeah,
contemporary. Fierce goes for Awashia.
Okay, so that helps. What about VC or classic?
Yeah, I don't know about VC. I'll have to dig into that.
Okay,
I haven't had a chance to actually do the web comparison, but I don't know. I don't Fierce is in classic.
Anyway, it's opportunity to have other VC miniatures in the future with to bond with these.
But the thing is, going back to what I said previous about when you buy 2 of these sets, right? So you buy 2 sets of, so you get the 2 squads of the Gallery A, you get 2 Krakenlings, right? That is a total of 300 points.
It's a nice
with Tidal Advance.
Nice build.
Okay, when you have one. This is how I played last night. Literally, I had 1 card for the Vanguard. I had 1 card for the Kraken Link. That's all I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I put Order Marker 1, the decoy Order Marker X on the Vanguards, 2 and 3 on the Kraken Link. Okay. And that's how I played, because as soon as the game started, because I had 2 order markers on the Vanguard, I moved everything in my army, because I was playing the 300-point army. I moved everything 2 spaces at the start of the game. I was like, boop, boop, boop,
Yep.
boop, right?
Well, if you put all your order markers on the Vanguards, there you go. Like
you can do that.
Everyone
Yeah,
moves up 4
you can
spaces.
do that. But
Boom.
I split it between being able to play the Kraken Link and play the Vanguard, because here's the thing: the idea is that with title advance, you're moving them. You already get to move them as many order markers as you start the round with on the Vanguard. Okay, that's the key point.
Sure.
But if you're able to, you split it up, right? You can move those Vanguards into position. I activate them on order marker 1, put them in the water immediately. I was already swimming before I even started with them. It did their thing, and they were swimming, so I don't have to count any swimming or any
Fish
space in
rush.
the water. I'm moving all over the place, right? I'm getting attacks in already, right? Or by order marker 2, I moved the Crackling in and swap places with them.
It's
cool.
An interesting synergy,
Cool.
because you still have
It
to
was
like
so
manage your
cool.
order markers, because there isn't like
Yes,
your
you have to
typical
pay
classic
attention.
bonding.
You do have to pay attention,
right?
yeah.
So
Because
still
you
got
have
to
to
play,
place
but
a certain
it's still
amount
it's
on them,
manageable.
but
Yeah.
oh, it's fun. It's fun. And I played that last night, and I was able, like, I got the fact that I was able to get my fish to the water before I even started the game. That was the coolest part, because it was like, oh hey, I'm already here. Yeah,
I can't
jumped
wait
into
to
the
play
water already.
test
I was done.
like these fish against the orcs.
Yeah,
that
it's
would
gonna
be
a
an
fun.
interesting.
I need to test them against bears, because
Sure.
in my local game group, the bears are meta. They're
Right.
dominating
Oh yeah,
every
absolutely.
game.
Of course, of course.
So I'm like, please, fish, break bear. Fish,
Who
break
wants to
bear.
beat?
Please. We're
Uh,
looking for any army to break bear now.
Okay.
In contemporary.
See, another special ability: defend the deep. Gallery
Yep, and
Vanguard
this is why
adds
you want to pick
2.
water.
Sure, 2 to its defense value when it is on a water space, or when it defends against an attack from a figure that has a height advantage. So they don't necessarily need to be in water. If someone has a height advantage against you, you add on 2 defense.
Yep.
So now the defense of 2 makes more sense, and that makes these guys a ton more valuable. So potentially you have defense of 4. Then.
And the way I got to use them last night, they're placeholders. Essentially, like,
sure,
you put them in a good spot, and they just will not. I mean, with a defensive 4, because at most points, most people will go to get height, because they know height gives them a bonus.
And this flips the meta.
This flips that. That flips that entire base concept of, oh, I'm going to go get height, because now you can't. You try to get height against the Gallery, you're going to lose the bonus. It gets
and
2 defense.
Even range will be tough to hit in that range.
They hold their placeholding. They are a Vanguard, right? If you understand, like, the terminology, the war terminology, Vanguard is a frontliner in a placement, right? So they front line, and they do exactly that. You put them up there, right, with title advance, and then you have them hold the places you need to go. And then when you need to specifically do something, swap them out with the Kraken Link, because that's what I was doing last night. Oh, it was so great. Literally go. Whoop,
Now,
whoop, whoop, and then,
now there is one like downside again for these specific water creatures. They're only gonna exceed well on a water specific battle map.
and this is where depending on the points. Now again, I'm pretty sure you need to have a higher. I don't think it's 500 specific, but Iwashia creates water.
This is true. So that helps. That helps.
There's an option there. It may just be 3 tiles, especially if it's like if you're playing on it. Now I'm going to say this specifically: this army would more or less not be great in a waterless map,
right?
Because
and
you're
there's a ton of them.
A lot of the effectiveness there.
There's a ton of them.
So this is where this would probably play well for like a draft scenario. If you're like going to you're playing a game and you see map has a really important water-based area.
Hmm.
Because again, and if you've been playing for a long time, who goes for water? You know,
Exactly.
most people avoid water
Don't even think
spots.
about it.
Stay
Yeah.
away from deep spots
Right.
because you're like, oh, if I go in the water, I'm gonna get targeted and they get to roll height against me. But now with the fish people, you want to get in the water. And if it now you make it hard for your opponent because you're like, "Oh, hey, come here.
Yeah.
Come here to this ocean.
You
Come here
have
to
no
this little
choice.
pool. You don't have a choice. You need to come here now. I control the situation." Because most people, again, don't go for water. But now they have to go for water because you're in the water. And then you get more defense when you're in the water. It's a fun little, yeah, it's like, haha, let me mess things up for you. And
Now,
again, I was having a lot of fun last night
right.
with this kind of messing things around. People were like, "What? It can do the what?" I'm like,
I
"Yeah,
I
it can do
just
that."
I just
It was
wonder
so
like
cool.
how they would like defend against like certain like classic builds that have like area of effect, you know, range.
Right.
Because there's certain area effects that could just wipe them out totally, you know. So
Oh, and
yeah,
as always, I mean, not most armies aren't meant to answer every,
right, right,
combat situation. You're gonna have holes specifically, and that's why you would build. You would order. I say order, order as in you're actually paying for the points. No, but you would use those points to split it up, like split up portions of that. Use their because here again with title Vance that most people say you don't play just one common army or one common squad. But
right,
last night I played two. I played
right.
two common squads of
I
Gilligan, and
think
they
for these
played really
guys,
well.
at least
So
three, you know, to
at least
be
three, but
yeah.
yeah,
But two is fine if
it
it's like
just takes
300 build.
one card.
Right,
Yeah, it just takes one card to
exactly.
activate title Vance for everybody in the army. So that's the thing you got to
And
consider.
it's
As
a
well.
good advantage for sure. To be
Mhm.
certain, because you do it each round.
Yep. And
So
I play. I think so. I have to say this because I did mention it at to my friend that I was playing against. Um, we were doing the Montfrey Manor scenario,
okay,
right? So that's why I was playing my 300-point army, and they were playing 300 army of all time characters. And I was going to help them out. We were working together to go break down the door against our
sure.
friend who is really good player. Right, we're going to break down the door, and they were using Moore's Bane. I remember, so they moved Moore's Bane into to attack, and they were trying to use Moore's Bane's negation rod against Lord Viscerod.
Okay.
Right, and it failed. It,
Ah,
it was a really sad roll,
yikes.
and then the Necrotech completely surrounds Moore's Bane, about to get just demolish Moore's Bane.
New plan,
So I'm
please.
like, well, I'm gonna go save him. That was my plan. I was like, I'm gonna go save Moore's Bane because I'm teamed up with the guy, and I'm like, I'm gonna save Moore's Bane with the Kraken. But before I could even get to Moore's Bane in time, this is completely
Oh yeah. Oh
devastating,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. For sure.
So do you know what my friend does? My friend decides the person that's supposed to be on my team decides to betray me.
Ah.
Goes, I'm not working with you anymore. I'm attacking him now. And now I had to defend against him and the other player. And I'm sitting there like, bro,
That's
we were
not
supposed to be
fair.
working
No
together.
kidding.
Yeah. No, but check this out. Check this out. The Krakenling defended me.
Mm.
And I got to kill my friend who was trying to betray
Kill your
me with the
teammate.
Krakenling.
My
I,
goodness,
I
the
did the whole,
drama.
Eldritch switch.
The
I was
drama.
swapping around, dude. But yeah. So I was saved by the Krakenling. But it was just a really funny. Um, you don't know who you can trust, apparently.
Oh, obviously.
Heroscape.
Yeah, for sure.
'Cause- but this game, yeah, the whole point is this set is going to be so much fun.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, and I'm not even saying
No
that as like
doubt.
I don't know. The way they play, the way I got to test them out yesterday, and just the potential of how they work together, especially with higher point costs. And then you get to add a Washia there with the water, creating water for them. What they can do with all-time characters. It's a really neat composition
Oh
with
yeah.
both of them there,
I
and it
think
just
so.
I'm hyped.
Good.
Yeah, they're just like they play well.
Thumbs
They
up.
play really really
Thumbs
well.
up. Yeah.
I was I
For
was really excited.
unique take on another way of doing like a it's like it's not a direct bonding synergy. It's more of an indirect bonding
Yeah,
synergy, which fine.
the movement,
It
the whole army
works.
movement.
It works.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that's taking a look at Gallery Vanguards, other common squads. Interesting. All right.
Love it.
So
So
now we are at
oh, that's so cool.
it.
I'm
People,
just I'm
people,
so glad they're out.
people. It's 11 a.m. and we've covered 3.
Wow. You know what's so funny? That's
Or
one
11
set.
a.m. I'm sorry, 11
Actually, no,
p.m.
that's 2 sets. We have covered officially 2 sets
Yes, we have
of
technically.
of Embers of War.
Technically, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to do. So
It's been a good month. It's a good month
yeah,
for
apparently.
Heroscape. It's been a good month.
So
And
this is definitely going to be, and I'll have to switch the wording. This is definitely going to be a part 1 stream, and we'll have to do part 2 hopefully next Wednesday. We'll see if we can get to it. But we'll try to do still 1 or 2 more, probably just 1. But I do want to get into the dragons. So that's what we're gonna hit next, and this will probably be the last one we do tonight. But for those of you who are listening via, because I will post this via Spotify as a ToV podcast special. And so for those of you, like the transition, you won't even notice the transition. It'll just be from part 1 to part 2 right away. And I'll edit it that way. But for this part on the recording of this live stream tonight, yeah, we're just going to look at those dragons. They just look so cool. For those of you listening on audio, I'm sorry.
Cool. They're not cool. They're not cool.
They're cute.
Brats.
They're cute.
They're brats.
Okay, they're brats. Yeah. Actually, they do look kind of like bratty. Yeah, they do. But still,
they're.
Here we go. Scions of Icaria. There we go. Exile. Yeah, 2 parts will be fun. Yeah. We'll do that because it's just maybe sometime in the future I can go on all night. But it's not tonight, guys. I'm sorry, it's not tonight.
That's fair.
Which is fine.
That's fair.
So Scions of Icaria. And okay, we get a bit. Did you write this, Jeremy?
I did write this.
Here we go.
So, so here's the crazy thing. I have to say, huge shout out. I really appreciate Renegade Game Studios for doing this particular thing with and the Lore Council for pointing this out. Again, this is a backstory reference because if you know me, you know my backstory. Back when I was in high school, I was really. I mean, I've been big with Heroscape lore forever, right? But it was that weird pool. Oh, I'm a teenager. I'm lonely. I'm going to the library. I'm going to sit in the library and I'm going to write stories. And I did.
Dude.
I used to write stories for Heroscape, and I was obsessed as a kid with Icaria, right?
There you go.
The storytelling behind Icaria, mainly because there was nothing. Okay, this was the point. This is why I was so obsessed with it as a kid, because if you remember back in the day, there was only 5 dragons that came out.
Right.
And so the 5 dragons barely explain anything except the last one, right? Zelric's bio, the whole dynamic there. You got this the great dragon emperor demands tribute, but then nobody's able to give tribute except this poor kid, and the poor kid's tribute is his pet lizard, and he thinks he's going to die because this dragons are going to kill him. It's just it was the most information we've ever gotten on that planet, bar none, ever. And I remember that little bit of fiction just being this like spark of creativity. And if I don't know if it was that one or all of it or wherever, but I can say Icaria, specifically the planet of Icaria, is in fact what caused me to become a creative person, right? Renegade caught wind of that, so now they give me all the Icaria stuff. They're like, here, you like this planet, so write about this planet. And I got introduced to the concept of the fact that the dragons from classic Heroscape have lineages, right? So because they're all royals, right? They're all kings, queens. They all have these like really, really important pedigrees. That's the word I'm looking for, right? And so, but the problem is, right, when you're a powerful lord of regal bearing, so strong in your government position, you don't have time for squabbling children,
You don't have time for kids,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and this is dragon culture, by the way. We're talking about dragon culture, right? So you grab these babies, you throw them all together, and you force this one
That group.
particular dragon to take care of these babies. You're like, okay, hey, I'm not doing this, you do this. Make sure they're good. Make sure they're good, right? We don't want to deal with kids because they're the next generation, right? And here's the crazy part, right? These dragons are important, very important, right? Because they're royalty. They're the leaders of
Oh, of
these dominions. They're just handing their children off. They're like, oh, I don't want to deal with them. You need to raise them. These kids have no idea where they're coming from, but they do remember that they're important because they got all these fancy titles. They got all these
self-importance.
Like, yeah. Oh man, and because of that, this is why they're, as their personality describes, they're pompous. They're brats. This is why I've been describing it like that, because they're full of that importance because their whole life they were told, you will be the next king, you will be the next emperor. It's like, oh, sweet. It's like they've never had to do anything, for themselves. So now they're sitting here in a situation. And you got to read the Bible, because now there's a really particular situation, a particular dragon that they ended up becoming their ward.
I will say one thing though, because I was realizing this when you were talking through all this. Everybody understand, and Jeremy, I'm very proud of you for this, because this is your imagination on a page. This is,
don't make me cry.
It's I'm just be proud to have a little bit of part of that. So yeah, very proud of you.
Dude, man. Oh, I can't even talk. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Okay, let's read this. All right. An orc paused during his patrol over the plains of Menlinia?
Yep.
Okay, plains of Menlinia. My goodness, words in Heroscape.
Aren't they the best? That's my favorite part.
Eager to break his fast. But he immediately regretted revealing his food as 3 Icarian dragonets descended upon him, surrounding him in an instant. Oh, I can just visually see that.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you not bow? The speaker, a dragonet with metallic red-orange scales, fixed the unfortunate orc with her most piercing gaze. Commanded not to provoke them, the orc obeyed. Though he could feel the weight of their stares pressing down on him, stifling even in their youth. The copper scale snatched his meal as if it was an offering, while the others laughed. Oh my goodness. Life is for the strong, the dragonet declared. Silence followed, broken only when one of them kicked the orc's side. Oh, good grief. Dragons are the strongest, he grunted. Nalfheim is the strongest of all, snapped another dragonet, her scales bright as snow. She reached for the ration. I am his spawn, and I will rule the north. You won't survive long enough to rule, the copper scale sneered, shoving the snow scale aside and swallowing the ration whole. Share, hissed the third, his skin slick with slime. Conflagrant ones do not share. The Borean throne never forgives, and the affairs of the northern continent bore me. The sky darkened momentarily as a massive shadow swept over them. Mimring descended, vast wings blotting out the sun. At once the dragonets scrambled across the ground to greet their liege, still arguing. Then what do you want? Lord Ukar's promise. More than the 12 thrones of Annex Draco. Wait, how do you say that? Draco Keomine? Yeah.
So I made this word up.
Good
I
God.
actually got the. Yeah, this is my contribution
The
to the
12
crazy
thrones
Heroscape vocabulary.
Annex Draco
I'll
Yakimine.
say
Yeah, go ahead.
Dracoicomine.
Dracoicomine. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Too.
Dracoicomine. That's how I pronounce. But I made this word up. So again, have fun with it.
In Webster's dictionary, in a Webster's dictionary store near you sometime soon.
Look, it is part of every lore person's role in life to create complicated vocabulary
Sure.
for fictional languages, right? Literally, Tolkien made how many languages?
Oh
Like
yeah, no
26
doubt.
something, 30
Sure.
something languages. I get to make up some words
Dude, go ahead. Oh, by all means, no.
that fit in this setting. We gotta have some fun with our languages. But yeah, if you start seeing some random stuff, feel free to ask me. I don't mind pronouncing it
For
because I
sure.
did make those
Oh,
words up.
that's
They are based on roots. They're
25%
based
of
on
why
roots
you're
of the
here.
so I was like, I had to do it because I mean it's part of
Drac
my upbringing. Yeah.
Dracoicomin. There. Okay.
The koi komine.
Koikomin. Dracoicomin.
Koi komine. Yeah, the koi.
Dracoicomin. I'll have to repeat
There
this
you
a few
go.
times. The copper scale
Yeah.
nodded, speaking loud enough for the orc to hear. I want Grut. The dragon with the smooth, slimy skin cackled. And which world do you think which world do you think suits me? Silence and focus, Mimring hissed as he landed, his claws and wings gleaming in the morning light. Dozens of dragonets poured from the camp to gather around him. Remember your place, whelps. A caravan moves on the horizon. The time for us to strike is now. Take to the skies at my side and do as I do. The trio's argument ceased as they exchanged glances, licking their teeth. There was a far tastier breakfast waiting for them today. Look at those sculpts, guys. Wow. I
Yeah.
like the Braxis type sculpt.
The
That
references are peak. Like it's just because you're looking at dragon designs that
and
are
it's
themed after
Uthgar, guys.
classic
This is
from
Uthgar. Uthgar got the dragon babies, guys.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Explore a little bit of lore here for just a
Yeah.
couple of minutes, because we do need to wrap
I
this
know
up.
we're gonna.
Yeah.
There's so much. Okay, so I will explain. Plains of Menlinia. That was a specific reference I wanted to include, which this takes a lot of deep cuts. I do a lot of deep cuts for fun because this is part of what I do for every video game, right? But if you remember the Avalon Hill beta rulebook, in the beta rulebook for Avalon Hill's HasLab, right, when they were launching the Vanguard Edition, the word Plains of Menlinia was written in there,
Okay.
right, as part of the rulebook. Didn't come from it. Didn't mean that was literally, that's it. That was it. It just mentioned that phrase, and then it never came up. So at some point, that was going to be a scenario map, and I just didn't know what it was referencing. So I was like, "Hey, what if we put it
Just
in this
throw it
bio
in
because it's
Utengard.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's an Age of Annihilation setting, so we need to reference. We can try to reference, all those Age of Annihilation stuff. We want to keep referencing what that came from that. So there's that from the beta rulebook. It's
There you
like
go.
now it's a place in Valhalla. Right? So that was exciting getting to put that in there. Of course, we have this dynamic where we got these rival dynasties fighting each other. The problem is, how do rival dynasties express this conflict if they're babies, right? I mean, they're literally, they don't get it. They don't understand
More like
their
children
role.
or teenagers,
They don't understand their titles. Yeah, it's in my head when I got this contract. When I was thinking about how to do, like, the scions, I'm like, okay, their legacy are these kings and queens of this planet where they're revered as gods or revered as these super powerful beings, right? They haven't had a single need in their life at all. They've never had any. And now, right, they're being summoned to Valhalla because, as you understand the role with how the Battle of All Time works, it's like you have to. There are a lot of things that we don't explain because we want you, the player, to kind of think of stuff yourself, right?
Mhm.
Because it's always been there's some open ended. It's like, why did these baby dragons get summoned to Valhalla? Well, you think about that, right? That's something for you. You get to fill that blank now. That's a cool story. You get to, right? And there's like all kinds of stuff that comes into that play, right? But you look right in that center, right? The dragon is referencing a promise, right? Utgar promised something to these baby dragons, right? So he's mentioning he's more than the thrones, right? It's like, yeah, I want this planet.
Yeah.
The
And again, what
point
about these
is
thrones
that-
too? That's an interesting
Well,
reference that might
so,
mean something in the
yeah,
future.
that's a reference to Icaria, That's a
Right.
reference to Karya government, right? And it's essentially a name to the Karyan government, where the way I reference things, if you go into your classical Greek, you go into your literature books and stuff like that. There's a concept of it. It's hard to explain. In the ancient Greek, the word oikoumene, right, refers to the known world. Okay, this is how I explain it. It's like what you know is safe. What you know as a protected space. This is society. This is city. This is life. Right. That's oikoumene. And then there's a bunch of stuff that exists outside of that, which is it's not safe. It's not protected. Right. So I took that concept from ancient Greece, right, the oikoumene, combined it with the word dragon, so Draco, right? So the dracoikomene is
There you
for
go.
them their protected space. To them, this is what they say is accepted, right?
Okay.
Because you have to remember that to the dragons, when you fulfill the terms of the dragon's government, right, which is the tributes that they demand, you're safe. You're protected from other dragons that would eat you, right? Because in previous bios, if you read Zelrig's bio, that's a big thing. They're like, we have to pay the tribute. We have to.
Hmm.
Otherwise, we will get eaten. There's that constant threat because the dragons decide whether or not you live or die
They're practically
based on
gods.
their whims.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are essentially gods. They protect. They depict your fate because they're like, yo, you know what I feel like? I feel like eating. I feel like eating and destroying this. Not until, well, I may eat you, or you can pay me this fine, and then I won't eat you.
Yeah. Because
No one, no one wants to live like that. But that's how
any
they define
classic
things.
dragon, especially fantasy dragon,
Will are
the
not good
more yeah
things.
the
Not
more
good leaderships.
the more the thing that they love more than eating somebody is treasure and gold.
Hmm.
They covet
Yep.
that usually.
So
So
that's how you placate the Ikarian dragons. They have this weird like system where it's like, oh, you pay tribute, they'll protect you. You're in their dracoikomene, they're in their protected spot. But you don't pay the tribute, dragon can eat you.
yeah, out of the
You're free game,
Dracoikomene.
essentially. So, and it's like, do we like this? Do we like this government? No, not really. But who wants to oppose a dragon-run government? Good luck.
There's some
That's a rough.
nice sculpts. They're just like, and then again,
They did a good yeah.
you can get just like one regular painted and then just all the rest unpainted
Paint
and
them your own
do
scheme. Paint
different
them.
different colors. You know,
So
all kinds of dragons.
shout out to Lee. I have to give a shout out to Lee
Mhm.
specifically because when she showed off the sculpts to me for
Mhm.
these dragons, she wanted to make sure they were lore compliant. She was
Mhm.
actually, hey, are these these specific to Heroscape dragons? I'm like, heck yeah, they are.
Mhm.
So I mean, they did their work, right? But the big thing I want to give a shout out to is the fact you see the mimring child,
Yes.
what the dragon's
Gulp.
holding a
Mhm.
small lizard. She asked me about that, specifically the lizard in the dragon's hand.
Oh, people
Right?
noticed that right away when that sculpt was shown.
Yeah, the Pello lizard. Yeah,
Yep.
the Pello lizard from the Zelrig bio. That's what it's referencing. It's referencing the Zelrig bio specifically, and that was something Lee made that decision before I even joined.
Sure.
So huge shout out because they have been making really good decisions in terms of design that they've had months in advance, and then they showed it to me and they're like, hey, is this right? And I'm like, bro, you guys had this. I was like, this is peak. I was excited when they showed me this. I was like, if this is the future of Heroscape, I'm all for it.
Dude.
Like when they showed me this is when I got committed because
Right.
I was like, oh, well, we're in now. So
Okay.
I was definitely on the project hard when I saw these guys because I was like, I know they're doing their research.
Right.
They looked everything up. I mean, look at the wing patterns on the Mimring baby. It looks just like Mimring's.
A
Tell me
dragon common squad. This is a first.
Yep.
Dragon
gonna be
common
awesome.
squad. Scions of Icaria. Utgar. It's like, I wouldn't have guessed that, first of all, that these guys were going to be a common squad, A, and
Mhm.
B, that the common squad was going to be under Utgar's banner. That those are two that were definitely nowhere near in my imagination or bingo book. And so, yeah, that's something. And then, so a dragon common squad, Scion, Pompous, and I'm sure everybody's looking up to see if there's like different synergies with these, if it can be used for synergies with these, whatever.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. 1 life, move of 5, range of 1, attack of 2, defense of 2, 75 points. Okay. Of course, the flying ability, obviously. Cleave to the mighty is special ability. It says at the start of the game, choose an interesting, an archmage, dragon, king, or queen unique hero. There's a lot of options here, dude. There's a lot of options. You control to be the liege for all Scions of Icaria you control. Before taking a turn with the Scions of Icaria, you may take a turn with their chosen liege. Bonding synergy, boom, right there. Another so this is almost like Renegade's answer to Greenscale Warriors, in a sense.
Yeah.
It's actually almost, these might actually be a little bit better. Actually, I mean, Greenscale Warriors don't have much in the way of attack and defense, but they have the Dragonic Breath special. I don't think Greenscales have a special attack, do they? I'm trying to remember. I don't think they do. It's just the bonding.
They get a bonus to be next to the Lizard King, but that is, they don't get a special attack.
Draconic Breath special attack. Range 4 attack 2. Only figures within 3 clear sight spaces of Scions of Icaria's liege can be targeted. Okay, but with a Draconic Breath special attack. So does that mean so attack of 2 for each one? Like each one gets a range of 4 and attack of 2, then basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're melee units, but they would get a ranged special attack when they're within the 3 clear sight spaces of the liege.
Okay, so you got to stay within 3 clear sight spaces of your liege. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's let's see here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a 7 range basically, total that you're working with. Not bad. And then say if you get a glyph or like a range effective glyph for additional range, that's 8 range potentially. Dude, that, like, you have yourself now a new dragon, like a king dragon army build right here with these common squad figures. That's great.
And not just dragons, but
archmage, kings, queens, like
Sonlin.
So classic VC Renegade, there are options for builds for these dragons.
You want to hear something exciting?
Yeah, dude.
Here's something exciting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it's queen, so they bond with Maladric. So I knew. There it is. You can have a Maladrix. You can do like a split core Scion army there.
Dude. And we haven't looked at everything yet, but this might be my one that I'm just like, oh, bring on the dragons.
Yeah. It's so cool. It's a reference to classics. It's got the styles based on the dragon. It's got
so much nostalgia in this too. This is a direct pointing back into the past.
They worked hard on this design.
And so this is a Renegade one, obviously.
Renegade themed one.
Very, 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 very happy with this. Is a 2 thumbs up because it's just like it. Again, it's not like this is something that flips the meta, but it becomes the meta. This is just something that, like, wow. Talk about so this is definitely Renegade's answer to Greenscales, and they're taking it up a notch a bit. I think. I mean, obviously you need to play test these things. We need to see how things synergize, but this from my first impression, this is really good, really good. Wow, yeah, I'm very impressed with these and the lore, their personality. Wow.
Yeah, I was really excited when they.
Dude, I can't believe I held all this in for 6 days.
Bro, I held this in for months.
Yeah, for sure.
I held this in from like last year. I'm like, no, well, because this is a big thing. This is a big reason why I was like, hey, I'm going to keep pushing this brand forward. Why? Because guess what's coming out? You don't know what's coming out. This cool stuff. And this is a big sign of a lot of that design intent forward, where they want to commit and show you all that they do in fact love Heroscape, and this is one of the big ones. right?
I think
Dragons based on the classic
I
dragon.
think I'm not sure, but I think my son might have fun with these dragons. Although he's into fish, so he might actually go for the more the fish builds. But he likes
Yeah,
the dragons too. And if there's a way for me and him to get these, and then he gets builds that
and
eventually
Kyrian too. Yep.
he can compete with, this is a very easy way for someone who's just getting into Heroscape to like do classic and NVC and Renegade, like in any type of tournament scenario, and you're not wanting to spend too much, you can just focus on these and whatever favorite dragon or whatever, because there's lots of options for this, and you don't have to buy expensive green scales anymore, or invest in that and get these and just have fun learning the game, on the cheap for this. Just get yourself some classic dragon units and just start getting good at it. This is a great starter. This is a great starter for this. At least that's what I see. At least that's what I anticipate for these, because yeah, I mean, I have to like look at green scales and just compare and probably like match them up against each other in the future, but from what I see, yeah. And Justin's saying, how many Skyans would be ideal for an army? Downside of taking a lot would be they lose power when their leech dies. Again, this is definitely a king build setup army. This is a king and the funny thing is, I'm listening to Rye Guy's king build finally that he had discussion with Doggen Days. So I'm understanding more the king build scenario on things. And so shout out to you, Rye Guy Plays Games. But yes, this is definitely a king build army, which isn't a bad thing, because you have your ranged. Well. Yeah, you have your ranged. Yeah. You have your attack. You have your melee attack. This might be a king build that's really tough to defeat, depending on what dragon you got. And even if, say, that king build is done, I think still these dragons, well, and see here, but if the king build dies, then you cannot use the special attack anymore with these, right? Correct? Because you got to be within 3 clear sight spaces of your Scion. So once your Scion's dead, then the special attack no longer works. So you just got to focus then on melee after that. So that is a concern. But all the same, still, you need to have that balance. It's not everything's going to be perfect, so that's what you got to focus on that particular king build. But anyway, yeah, Justin's saying downside of taking a lot would be they lose the power when their leech dies. Don't forget Kyrian 2 for contemporary, for sure, because Kyrian is a queen. That's right. Yeah, so many options for these. I still think that they might end up becoming something that's very competitive on all sides. It's definitely a good start for this. So, I'm just gonna close it now because we already gone like 20 plus minutes on this. But this is looking at Scions of Akaya. First look, I'm wowed. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm wowed by these guys. Just amazing. Wow. Okay. So
and I definitely posted up the webisode because of them. Because Mimring is in the webisode
for sure,
and I was like, "Hey, we gotta show off who their new ward is." Not the greatest example in terms of Dragons in Charge, but here we are.
All right, guys, and so I know we still have a lot more to do, but we'll have to do it like on a part 2, and hopefully not be a part 3. But here, let me get that off. Let's get on here and let's just start winding down for tonight, y'all, because we explored a lot and we haven't even scratched the surface yet. Yeah, we're like almost 3 hours into this, which I'm not surprised. So I'm not surprised, but
dude.
So I know like the next time we go for a part 2, I'm not going to be as surprised going on. Although I'll probably browse over what we're going to be looking at next for part 2 as preparation for the podcast is Sunday, but I still won't go as in depth as we will if we're going to do this next Wednesday. But impressed. You know, it was definitely worth the wait. Looking at what we looked at so far,
Dude,
um,
trooper.
and so far, I think the dragons are. I just see a lot of
I'm
fun
excited.
potential with those
Mhm.
scions. It just because, again, it's your answer to green scale. Again, green scales aren't perfect, but they're still used. You know, they're still used a lot, and
I
it
introduced the game with the green scales,
it
so
just makes me so happy now. You have a Renegade alt version of the green scales, and I can't wait to
contemporary.
see
Right?
these types of armies going against each other to see what works best. It's great to have these options. Oh my goodness, very very enthusiastic about this. Um, anyway, so thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Again, we will be back again hopefully next Wednesday to discuss a first look at the rest of
The
what.
type option. Oh
My
man,
god, there's so much, dude. There's so
I
much.
can't wait. Yeah. And hey, man, you still got some really cool stuff to look at.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, we've only looked at like four of what, like almost a dozen, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
I know. I'm just like, wait, there's more. But there is.
but
It's gonna be
wait,
good.
there's
It's gonna be a good
more.
time.
You know. But again,
Yep.
thank you, Jeremy, for joining me tonight.
Thank you for inviting me.
For sure. Give a quick
Talk
shout
to you.
out again to whatever we want to do before we close.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, not been streaming as often, but definitely a huge shout again to Extra Life for that shout out. They shouted out the platform, so I wanted to give them a shout out. And again, if you can consider donating, please check that out. It is a fantastic program. Again, now that you can see it, I've been there, been able to check out their facility. I've seen the stuff that they do. Right, they are helping multiple families out with these donations, right? And now you know that there is going to be Heroscape at this local children's hospital. So anything that you can give, you have the opportunity to give, please consider doing so, right? Because that's something I want to be able to tell these kids, be like, hey, these Heroscapers, right? We play these awesome war games and we talk about these awesome battles, cosmic forces are fighting each other, stuff like that. But this is a really cool time to really be hero, an actual hero in someone's life. I'm so serious because I got to see the smiles of children who would have never been able to be here if it wasn't for these treatments. And those
Mhm.
treatments are funded by these donations. So yeah, if anything, biggest shout out I want to give today is
Sure.
consider checking out that program, giving that a check, just checking it out. Yeah, just look out and if you aren't able, which I totally understand, sharing the program, posting online, doing that kind of stuff helps out a lot. It really does
Right.
because they share all the time, and I think that's a big thing too. They've raised some pretty good amounts, but they could always use that help.
For sure.
They do really awesome.
There's
So
always
yeah,
another child getting sick out there.
and it's these kids, give them a chance to play some Heroscape. Shoot,
Exactly.
if anything, your donations give them a chance to live long enough to play this game.
Well, and
That's
also
the thing that,
that there is a certain form of therapy to do something that you love, and it kind of takes your
I'm
mind
excited.
off your circumstance,
Give them a chance to
and
play
it
it.
gives you a reason to fight, to live. So
Yeah.
so absolutely. So thank you so much, Jeremy. Definitely everybody check out links in the description below for that. And of course, I'm Ryan, aka Tales of Valhalla. We will have a ToV podcast this Sunday doing an overview of all this. So not
Okay,
as
yeah.
specific detail as like me and Jeremy are doing tonight and next
Deep
Wednesday,
stuff.
but we will have like the panel on. We'll discuss, the positives, the negatives of what's been announced, what everybody thinks. And you'll have your chance to say what you want in the chat as well this Sunday. So we'll see you then, and we'll also probably see you next Wednesday when we'll look and do more deep dives of the Embers of War Wave 5 from Renegade Heroscape. And so far, I like I said, impressed with the dragons. I mean, other stuff is pretty good too, but I think overall my top pick so far is those dragons. They just oh my goodness.
They're
I
fun.
just can't wait
Yeah.
to test them out sometime in the future. Anyway,
I want to give them out. Yeah.
I thank everybody for commenting in the chat. Daniel Chance, give me like if you're like working on lore and stuff, because I've been reading up on those scenarios. Find a way to contact me sometime, sir. It'd be lovely talking to you.
Writes really well.
Yeah,
Does some really cool stuff. The scenarios are all really well done.
If you're still on, give me a shout or not a shout. Give me like throw me a line or somewhere if you're on Discord or whatever. I'm sure you are. And let's have a chance to talk sometime in the future. Would love that. I think I'm not sure if Daniel's been in the chat before. I think he might have maybe once or twice in the past, but it could be this is first time. So I'm extending that invitation. Feel free, reach out to me because it'd be fun to have a conversation with you. But anyway, with that, I do thank all of you for watching. Until next time, you have a purpose in your life. Find it, pursue it, live it, and we'll see you all this Sunday. Later now. Bye-bye.